Shut up and sit down.
Hello and welcome to the first game of All World Gaming. I am very excited and I am joined today by Wheelku. Wheelku, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Just been enjoying some esports over the weekend here, and now we get to get our own hands into the cookie jar. And
Oh
here we're going
yeah.
to see MGK versus Imperium.
This is going to be our first game. Um Obviously, as well, you would know if there was a game before this, right? Cuz I know all of you guys are really paying a lot of attention to All World Gaming. If you guys weren't here before, um welcome. But in any case, yeah, stream day 1, March 27th. Um, realistic really, I just wanna get started off, like, because this is the first stream, right? So we have 12 teams available. Division 1, we're gonna be having Alpha 1, High Voltage, Emergence, Coastal Gaming, Vipers, and Lycus Academy, and for Division 2, we have Gooba Gang. It's Mid Imperium, Gusick, Lycus Empire, and Mungano wa Kwanzaa, which is, in fact, one of the teams that we are going to be casting today. Now, do you know anything about these teams, Wheelku, at all?
Not particularly. I also, I'm not sure if we're supposed to say this, but I saw a message about how Gusick is not actually going to be in the league anymore.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to
Yep.
make that known. There will be a replacement team for them. Some circumstances came up there. They're no longer in the league. So I just wanted to make that known just now, right off the bat, which was a team that I'm familiar with, actually. So
Yeah.
we'll see what new face can replace them.
I will say I have been keeping track of Mungano wa Kwanzaa on Twitter. They have been very active and they do have a few names, so I'm actually really excited for this matchup. And also, just to mention, because, obviously getting housekeeping out of the way, this season is going to have an $800 prize pool that is going to be split 500 to the first place, 200 to the second, and 100 to the third. So, really a lot of opportunity for any of these teams to make their money back and then some during the season.
Definitely, respectable numbers. This league is still relatively new, so it's nice to see the increase. Seeing it
Oh,
just
absolutely.
grow over time. I'm happy to be here.
Me too. This is my first time casting with All World. So I mean I'm excited to be here. I don't know if you've been here before Wheel Coup, but we will actually be casting together quite a bit. We're gonna be casting together for the next 5 weeks every Sunday at this time. So if you like the way we're casting, make sure you come back and check us out a little bit more. But in any case, I believe we do have map bands ready. So we're gonna go ahead and go over to that really quick.
Yeah,
And
taking a look below, you can see all of the bands all throughout, and the map pool has been updated, as you may have noticed if you watch other leagues in comp setting or even Pro League itself. And of course, we're going to end up on a very familiar map, not one of the ones added, which is going to be Villa, which I actually like, but other people seem to have a different opinion. What is your opinion, Gally?
Villa, I think, is very interesting with the attacker repick because previously what we saw a lot was just that there's two main lanes on the top floor, and you can kind of just stick some utility in the middle of it. It makes it really hard for you to attack. Um, Ended up turning this into a pretty attacker sided or pretty defender sided. But with the new attacker repick, it's sort of changing, giving a little bit more flexibility. But obviously, we're also gonna have to see how, operator bans. I mean, if we see a Flores ban, that's pretty standard here. There you go, right off the bat, and that's just something like right as we mentioned, right? There's that knot in the middle of the map, and that's gonna make those shields a little bit more impenetrable.
Saw someone say, "I hope you hate the game," and I feel that because right now I'm very upset with this game. I feel like the connectivity or the hit reg or something's going on. I'm not a fan
Yeah.
of. But hey, whatever. We'll see how the players can handle it. It's gonna be a Thatcher band to follow up the floors, Mira band, and then I expect probably a Valk or a Cade band to be the last one here. Pretty standard band, as you mentioned, Flores. Useful. You see shield positions all over, whether classical hallway or top of main stairs or just other positions. So that'll make those stay in place a little bit longer. Use some other utility. Can't just drive a Flores drone up and destroy them.
Right. And I didn't quite catch what that last ban was. It is a Valkyrie. Very yeah, not surprised to see that. As well, we can talk about the fact that 80% of the top floor has destructible flooring. That
Wow.
is a lot. So once we bring that up and start putting that into perspective, getting Valkyrie off the board is definitely a very powerful operator that you probably want to avoid.
Right, no C4s from below unless you're just getting a good call or a bulletproof cam or something else giving that placement, or just a lucky throw sometimes. You never know. You can see the Tachanka is going to be broad. Sometimes you'll see that, or the smoke to stop the plant. In this case, Tachanka, I was talking to Mr. B last year, near the end of the year, so a little bit ago now, but I was asking about it because I saw that his team was bringing Tachanka a decent bit, and I was like, well, that's a change I haven't quite seen. And more as time has gone on, I see it more and more brought. So I think that I remember him saying that the fact that you don't have to give a direct line of sight like you do with the smoke, you can actually bounce it off of the doorways and such. That's what allows him to have a little bit more versatility. And also just the sheer number of those fire grenades is going to allow you to have a decent amount of denial in your hands versus three smoke waves. Pretty good still, but just depends on how you want to play it.
Right. And a lot of times, what players will like to do is literally just run straight through the smokes. And sometimes it catches a lot of people off guard. So, smoke a lot of the times is really only useful for actually actively denying a plant. Feel free to argue with me on that in the comments. But Tachanka does provide little bit more pressure in those situations. In any case, we are actually going to be seeing a pretty quick entry by Imperium, getting ready to get into the site. And goodness gracious, Lude Silent already with the first kill of the game, gonna clean up one player, but gonna get traded out very quickly by Nightmare.
Yeah, an opening kill going in the way of MGK, but quickly followed up, as you mentioned, by Imperium. So that's a quick back and forth now to a 4v4. So not really much gained there on either side. I suppose you did eliminate the Yana clones from being used to eliminate anything or get any utility knowledge of where they're being placed around in the hallways, for example. So now you have to just use your drones, and those can be taken care of pretty swiftly. And the Mozzie hopefully put down some pests. So not utilizing his C4 might be the only downside to losing him early.
Yeah, and while that downside is going to be potent, this vertical interplay is already at this point being abused by the attackers. How long they actually would have been able to hold on to that is going to be a different question. I have to say, Imperial making some very solid entries. They already have control of 90, and being able to pressure this shield so early is going to be very big for them.
Yeah, some destructions coming up from below. Both nades used by the sledge might have gotten rid of some of the utility, but no kills were gained. So still in that 4v4 with about a minute remaining. A lot of pressure on this backside. Vault wall is now opened up in this 90 corridor. So they have the angles. Now they just have to get the execution down. You see Cole, though, is over in the study area, pushing down the classical hallway. It gets shut down. Teku is finished off by Lunik. And now the 3v4 for these defenders. And plenty of time still needs to be burned by them. They're in a tough position.
Yeah, these defenders hanging out here. I mean, we do have a little bit of a crossfire built here in Vault down to the bar, but the question is whether or not that's going to be effective, and the player playing in Study is going to get taken out as well. We're already down to a 4v2, and MGK is going to have to get active, but unfortunately their activity is not going to be enough as Imperium collapses onto the site and is going to take that round, giving them the first round of the match, and, well, the first round of the whole season.
Really good job from Imperium just coming around and collapsing from all different sides. You saw Nightmare having a bigger impact than you might expect for the one who was not involved with the direct push, getting that player who dropped down early, and then coming up from the backside, which is actually main stairs, and getting a couple kills there. Some key positions, though, he's taking care of. The roamer, the player on the backside and Study, and then, of course, the last player remaining in sight. So really good job. Want to highlight the role that they were playing. We're going to see a change in the bomb site. They're not opting to go back. They want to just keep the rotation going forward, keep the attackers on their toes.
Not only keeping them on their toes, but also allowing you some time to adjust. Like I mentioned, the attackers have a lot more flexibility with the attacker repick now implemented. And this is just one of the ways that I think we're going to start seeing defenders start to counter that by giving themselves as much flexibility as possible. that is hopefully going to allow them to find the picks that they need. I think this is a change that is going to force defenders into this more aggressive play style that requires a lot of flexibility, as well as a lot of times just getting active and doing everything you can to slow down the attackers.
And one thing to help with that is going to be the Maestro Cams and the Alda in hand. Got to use some LMGs back at the attackers, as you see that there's one in the hands of both the Finka and the Zofia. So something to be aware of. LMG meta right now. It's a little overpowered in my estimates. That cam is going to spot someone heading towards 90, so they at least know the position of one defender, and they're going to be trying to get an early engagement. Nothing netted yet, though.
Yeah, you know what they like to say, more bullets, no problems, right? But in any case, I do want to point out, yeah, at this point in time, we have a very consistent south over push making their way through study, and hopefully, it's going to be a struggle for the defenders to find their way back into the site. They've put themselves in a position where now they're the ones that have to make it through this knot of lanes if they want to find themselves in a safe position. So they either need to go down swinging or they need to fall back fairly early on. And with a minute left in the round, this is probably about the correct time to be falling back.
A minute killed, and these attackers are already gaining a lot of ground. Main stairs taken, a study taken, but this is where things slowed down a little bit. Starting to get some walls opened up, trying to take care of this extended hold out over into planes and games. And indeed, as you mentioned, they needed to get out, and it looks like most of the bodies have found their way back towards home base. Going to be trying to just hunker down here in the last half of the round. Seems like on my end, a little bit of a freezing up of the frames. Hopefully that's okay on stream, but we're back up 5v5 halfway through this one.
Yeah, 5v5, 90 seconds left now. That is still plenty of time for either of these teams to make something happen. Tomato opting to drop the diffuser with the rest of his team as he begins to go and make a rotation over to the master balcony. There's a pick on the side of Weston, the MGK player. Now they are in 5v4, but that still allows Imperium plenty of flexibility to get their players around and hopefully start to apply pressure and distract these defenders from this knot, a place that very soon the attackers are going to have to penetrate, and a jump out is going to be unsuccessful. Tomato shutting down Natural.
Why would you jump out as the Maestro, though? You're the one who
That's a
can
good
control the
question.
cams. You have the Alda, so you're slow. It just wasn't the move. And Tomato finding another 2 on top of that. That's a triple kill on the round. It's going to be pushed from the side and bathroom and taken out. Now it's a 2v3 for these defenders. Man deficit, but time is going to start favoring them as we're down to about 25 seconds on the clock. Holding the angle from the breach, you're going to see Kale, excuse me, is the one who has to just hold out and buy a little bit more time. The Smoke's just going to use their utility to do so. On their end, they're not in the greatest position. Kale and Teku each successfully finding a body, and it's all up to Spudsack. They're in a 1v2 with 10 seconds remaining. It's not the place you want to be. They're locating the player into the master bedroom, but they can't get it. Kale shuts him down, and it's all even.
All right, so we are having a minor technical difficulty, so we're going to go ahead and go to face cams. Unfortunately, you're going to have to look at us a little longer, although if it was me, I personally wouldn't mind that much. I mean, look at this guy.
Oh,
This guy.
This direction. I don't. For me, it's like, I'm pointing to my left, but for me,
Right.
it's like,
Right.
perspective always gets me confused when it comes to cams, But
Right.
good round
No.
coming out. Bought
Yeah.
a lot of time on that extended hold, like you were pointing out. I think we can go back to the game actually already, so that's nice. We don't have to put up with our ugly mugs for too much longer. But looking at that round, I really did like the time burnt, and then the aggression from the Maestro, maybe not so much, but that player Kale pushing up, getting the shutdown on Tomato, and then holding out in Master Bedroom, a key position, turned out to be really essential in holding that one and locking it out.
Now, I do want to mention, since we haven't talked about this, we have Natural, Teku, Kale. Well, on the side of MGK, now those are big names. If you haven't heard of them, maybe you haven't been following. I believe obviously Natural and Weston, you can see the Mystic tag after the name. They were both on the former Mystic Academy roster, which is, that roster disbanded before I started working with Mystic, but I'm actually coaching Mystic Academy now, so kind of fun to see them here. But on the other side, Imperium, though, has been doing very well. This so far showing to be a fairly even matchup, despite the notoriety of some of these players on MGK.
Indeed. Coming down to the 1v2, and they even had the advantage from Tomato pushing in, getting a 3K. Unfortunately, that was all they had going for them in the firepower department. Last round got shut down pretty successfully by those last players. You mentioned one of them, Kale. Huge fragger on that side. Has 3 kills, so the most on the team so far. We'll see if they can keep it up. Pulse is going to be brought into play here because they're on the bottom floor site, the first floor, excuse me. And that's going to be feeding them a lot of information. But the Jackal on the other side is kind of the counter to that, allows them to also have their own method for gaining information.
I don't know if I would consider Jackal the counter. If you look all the way up, Spudsack is also playing an IQ. Now, IQ obviously very potent, very specifically against Pulse because she can spot out his little scanner as well as all the nitros that they're throwing. So it's going to be very difficult to find any of these vertical nitro plays. And Spudsack as well might be able to just find Pulse themselves as they take advantage of the attacker repick and hopefully take advantage of her gadget effectively as well.
Yeah, the question though is, will it net anything? Because she doesn't have a lot of utility that's all that useful besides her gadget to counter that pulse. Outside of that, if you can't do it, then you probably wanted a different weapon in hand or a different operator in hand, bring more utility. But hey, whatever. If it works out, it works out. We'll see. A lot of information though. This pulse is feeding, and Lude Silent getting that opening kill onto Spudsack, dropping down. Lunik does get Weston though, so that's the refrag, and we're all even again. They're going to be clearing out top floor pretty quickly here, so they're going to have plenty of time. That's going to be the IQ dead, though, so that Pulse is going to be allowed to use the gadget a little more freely now.
I will say there are no longer any nitros on the board, however, so that is going to make it just a little bit more difficult for them to find any vertical plays. You here see Natural just kind of taking some pot shots through the floor, looking for Finka. Now, oh goodness, is this nade going to find anything? Doesn't look like it. Does do a little bit of damage, but the Jackal ping coming out just at the wrong time. Now, we are going to start seeing an entry as Nightmare is going to take care of Lude Silent, and the Imperium side is going to start collapsing in onto the site, with Nightmare still applying a lot of pressure from the top floor. That is going to prevent a lot of areas of play, and it's going to make it very difficult for them to deny this plan. And a huge swing coming out from Teku, not going to be successful as Kanpeki is already in the correct position to deny that. And with the vertical play coming out from Lunik, suddenly Kale is in a 1v2, opting to go for the top floor to try and dislodge this attacker.
Yeah, 1v2 post-plant situation, so time also is going to be ticking down and forcing them to be pressured here. They're not going to see the player above and walk right past him. Lunik going to capitalize on that. That's an easy kill, and that's going to finish up the round for Imperium, 2-1.
All right, well, Tech does have a sound bug, so we're going to go ahead and pause, have a quick technical pause so he can reset his game.
Yeah, should be coming in pretty quickly, hopefully.
Yeah, probably won't take too long. Worst case scenario, you can look at us a little bit more. I hope that doesn't, hope that doesn't come through. But yeah, we are going to be looking at our faces. Once again, hello. I feel like you guys have seen us way too much already, but I mean, it wouldn't be Tier 3 Rainbow Six Siege without a couple technical difficulties, or Rainbow Six in general.
Yeah, buggy as all get out. But hey, it is what it is. We love the game. That's why we're here.
It's true.
At least we get to see two individuals with long hair. You don't see that very often. So we're representing the long hair gang. You can feel free to join. Just grow it out over the summer. You'll look like a surfer. It's great.
Yeah, no, I will say this has been a little bit longer than just the summer. This has probably been a year and a half now. But in any case, enough about our hair. Let's talk about the game. So right now, our score line, we have Imperium up 2-1. The rotation has just completed. Do you have any predictions for the rest of this defending half? Do you think it's going to if it's going to stay an attacker side of map, or do you think it's going to change around as the teams switch sides?
I'm not 100%. What I do feel though is this still has potential to be an even split before we see the teams switch sides. I think it's been pretty close, and the time being bought and the opening kills have been going in the way of the defenders that just haven't been able to carry it home. So MGK still have a chance here, kind of even it up, shore up the defenses. That was also probably the weakest site for them, and they didn't look as comfortable. I think going back to Plains and Games, they have a lot better chance of holding it out this time around now that they know just how they like to pressure from that backside push. That was really good coming out, but they also gave up that ground pretty early. Lude Silent was on the roam alone. That's one thing I would like to see is a little bit more support for that roamer, whether that means putting up some bulletproof cams in some odd positions just to give more information, or just having a second person more lurking to try and support or get the refrag if they are taken care of, whatever it might be, just some little bits of information or players' bodies helping that player so that they don't get refragged instantly. And last time they escaped, but someone else died. So just gotta maintain that opening kill advantage a little bit better, and I think that they could see themselves having a little more success.
Yeah, agreed. I think the trading game so far definitely has been going in the favor of Imperium. I mean, right off the bat with that first kill, that was a very beautiful trade, positioning that sledge in that position. I mean, not a lot of people get someone down there early, and might be a pretty smart move that if you have a team at home, you should consider taking a look at, because that was such a free kill. I'll tell you that right now. But as I mentioned, or as you mentioned, I should say, yeah, not a lot of pressure happening over there on the side of the defenders. They kind of just found a pick and fell off, and this is not a game about picks. This is not a game about man count. This is a game about map control. And if while finding a pick is good, picks are a way that you use to control map control or gain map control in the case of an attacker or even a defender sometimes in the event of a retake. But it's a struggle to see them all the way over there with no utility, no help. I'd kind of like to see perhaps MGK bringing a shield, playing a red shield or something along the lines, and really taking advantage of that not in the middle of the map.
Yeah, true. I mean, if we even look at the one round that they've won so far, they had the extended holdout into planes and games, didn't lose a body, retreated, but had bought half of the round at that point. And then, yeah, it was a little dicey kind of towards the end, but then they clutched it out with the last two players of Kale and trying to remember who the other player was. But offhand, they at least had two players who were able to clutch it through. And it was really on the back of the time that was bought. So I think we might be ready, or we're rehosting. Oh, the connection failed. Okay, so we're going to be a little bit longer, unfortunately. That means, but we can break this down a little bit more, I think. What have you seen that's been proving to be the success on Imperium rather than focusing too much on the negatives of the defense?
Imperium has, like I mentioned, has been very successful in terms of their refrags. Their positioning is very on point. It is definitely a very particular style that they have, where they send in a sort of a block of players, versus a lot of teams will like to build this either a spider web or go for a hammer and anvil strategy. And they do have some sort of a soft hammer and anvil at times, but not all the time. Right, we see a lot of the times they're just kind of this, almost like a blitzkrieg style, I would even call it, where they just kinda force themselves into a position and then take advantage of the fact that they've already proven they have high quality gun skill, and not to mention as well, I mean, they've got enough players to find the trades, and those trades are going quite well. They also clearly have proven to have a pretty decent understanding of the game, in the very least on that last take. Taking the vertical control, obviously very potent. There was one kill through there during the post plant situation, and forcing the alibi to go all the way upstairs and try and find the other two, which the alibi was completely unsuccessful at that. So, yeah, I mean, generally speaking, I just think that the attack is both obviously had an understanding of the game, understood where they want to go, and also understood how to use the attacker repick. I think they've been using that quite effectively as well.
Yeah, a new feature to the game, but they've seemed to have adapted really well for it. I do think that the one thing that you mentioned that might be a small criticism on the side of MGK's defense is that they are giving up that map control like early, right? They've been giving up key positions, haven't been able to fight it off as long as you'd like on certain bomb sites. Of course, we already talked about how their defensive statue trophy was really good with the extended hold, but on planes and games, for example, they're not really contesting 90. They're not contesting landing or top red. They're not really doing any of that, giving up the control. The only deterrent was that roamer who was taken care of after getting a pick, right? So it's just an
Yeah.
even trade, but no time was really bought. And that's what you really want from your roamer. Even more than body sometimes is going to be that time, right? So you can win on time. It's the sixth man if you work it right. So that's one thing that we could be a little more critical of. But I think, like you're saying, it's just Imperium knowing how to play the game, in their favor, taking those angles, taking those positions, not overly pushing up a solo. I would say, for one, you haven't seen that too much. Like we've seen some of those defenders push out the jump out from the Maestro, the wide swing from the Mute in the last round there. We've just seen a couple picks where they were just overly aggressive, but we haven't really seen that from Imperium. They've been playing their game, haven't been pushing too far. They're just taking the angles that are given to them, and then they're just riding it home to success.
Something I have to wonder. I mean, we mentioned we did have some players with a fair bit of notoriety. Um, the question is, are there some egos there that could potentially be holding back MGK? Like you mentioned, very aggressive plays coming out, and sometimes that can be a sign of an ego. So,
This is true. The other thing that you mentioned was the alibi going for the rotate after the plant was down, but like that could have came out earlier. That could have been probably
yeah.
more helpful earlier. So we'll see though. I think we are allowed to go back in the game though. So let's just jump right back in. It's 2-1. It's the score count. We'll see what MGK can do with the last 3 rounds of their defense. Hopefully, for their sake, they can at least bring it back to an even count. That way they can go into their attack a little bit more confident.
Starting off, we are going back to AVG, the first pick for MGK, and opting to bring a smoke versus the Tachanka that we saw bring back last time. Fortunately, bans were not built in, but we are going to instead just make sure when we have a gentleman's agreement, right? And
Right.
I mean, that's the way that it works sometimes. Let's be real. But yeah, I mean, interesting to say that. Yeah, I mean, they've brought the smoke versus the Tachanka, so kind of slightly different situation that you use these two players in. And curious to see how else they adjust. They do have a mute over here as well, potentially looking to just play a little bit heavier info denial this time.
The other thing that the mute can help with is you only had a Cade last time, and
Mhm.
you kept your walls shut on the study side, but then 90, where the vault wall is, was opened up. So maybe that mute's there for that purpose as well, not to allow
Mhm.
that angle to be opened up so easily like it was last time. Give yourself a little bit less angles to watch out for, a little easier on your mental, not having to flick back and forth between 2 different angles or 3 different angles. Maybe just hold down one, and then as a defender, that's exactly what you want. That's perfect, right? Just hold that angle down. I can do that. Anyone can do that, right? So
Yeah.
just make it easier for yourself.
I was just curious, what was Kale reinforcing downstairs? I didn't quite catch that. In case I'm sure we'll see before the round goes on, is there likely will be a little bit of a battle down there. Now, getting drones in front of them, very important. They do have a Nook actually droning in through the basement, going to be droning themselves and potentially going to be trying to find a sneaky flank. Maybe get themselves into that fallback position that we saw the sledge in last time, but it looks like Teku rather instead is going to be aggressing that. Loot Silent is going to find one. Spud Sack as well going to go down to the same player. Now suddenly we're in a 3v5 in favor of Imperium.
A 2K coming out on the side of MGK from Lewd Silent. It's going to set them up for success now. Up 5-3. Only a minute in, too. So that's a really early advantage to have. Now these attackers are going to slow down almost guaranteed because they have less bodies to clear. It's going to take a little bit more time. Tomato, though, going to be swinging the corner, but they get shut down. Lewd getting a triple now on the round. They're going to be contesting again. The swing coming out, and LMG working in the favor of Ken Pecky. Lewd is going to be shut down there, but Kale following it up is going to make it so Kenpeki is all alone in the 1v4, only halfway through the round, and it's already looking dire.
Nightmare, you gotta be ADS'd when you're peeking. So the first rule of Rainbow, you can't shoot someone if you're not pointing your gun at them. But Kenpeki, it looks like they're gonna take just a minute. I mean, this will be a good opportunity for the rest of the team to talk, but in the meantime, he's also just going to be making sure that he's safe and he has some sort of plan of approach towards the site. It is a 1v4, but that's definitely not impossible, especially with Konpeki maintaining 2 drones on the board, which he can use to find quite a bit of intel as the round goes on.
Yeah, just going to jump in now and kind of a Hail Mary at this point. Not much you can do. Try and grab the diffuser. Hopefully they give you some 1v1s, but even if they did at this point with the amount of time and the drone work is going to eat up more time, it's not really looking like this is even feasible unless they really all charge at him and they are sitting still, holding the angles, playing the time to their favor. As you can see, it's just going to kind of be laps, as you mentioned. Hopefully, it's a good time for Imperium to talk about what went wrong. It's really just the roam shutting them down is what went wrong there. And the peak coming out, the laying down prone player of Teku gets that last one for free virtually. We'll move into an even round count 2-2. Two more rounds. Imperium slowing down after that rehost.
Yeah, moving on to the 2-2, and we are going back to MGK's second sight trophy and statue. Once again, curious to see how they adjust. They adjusted quite well. I mean, nearly exactly what you said, bringing just another player over on the roam and making sure that it wasn't going to get shut down or caught out quite so quickly. Now, moving into this position, wow, if you look at that, MGK has brought themselves a vigil.
A selfish op, if ever there was one, doesn't do too
Yeah.
much for your team. It's all you. But hey, if you can get kills with it, it can be forgiven. That's really the only way it can be forgiven. Otherwise, you better shoot a bunch of drones, buy a lot of time, and not die if you're not going to get a kill. That's really how I look at the vigil picks, because otherwise, you're not doing too much to help your teammates. That's for sure. But you see the extended hold coming out again, trophy statue, and now extended over to plans and games. They're probably going to do that peel back defense that we saw last time. Imperium didn't seem to have a great answer for it. Sure, about halfway through the round, they'd already cleared it up, but they didn't get a body for their trouble. So all it was a favor for the defenders. Hey, thanks for the time. We'll take it, and we'll walk away. And hopefully this time, Imperium, yeah, do they have counters for that?
Well, looking right off the back, we see 4 of them at least spawning all the way over on study side, and Kale getting ready to make a jump out onto the 90 window. That is going to give MGK just a little bit more time and a little bit more flexibility in terms of when they decide to fall back. But Loot Silent looking like he's going to take his sweet time.
Yeah, what the?
That doesn't stun him, I guess. All right. So Loot Silent unstunned in Aviator, Weston playing in books as well. So gonna be a couple firefights that they're gonna have to make it through, and a beautiful shot coming out from Nightmare, gonna shut down the jump out by Kale.
Really good job. He's on that 90 repel as well, so that's going to be putting some pressure, not letting them escape like they did last time. This is the counter we were looking for. They can cut off a long angle, not quite sing over to red stairs on that window, but still enough. But Kenpeki is going to disconnect. That's going to be an unfortunate timing, but Lunik's trying to keep the man advantage, gets the kill onto Weston, and another one follows. Nightmare double on the round. Natural's off the board. Teku and Lude are the only ones left. This Vigil is going to have to show their worth here, trying to get some kills. They've already started to probably retreat towards site, and that's all they can do at this point. A 2v4, hunker down.
Yeah, being able to get together and make sure that they're maintaining their crossfires is going to be unbelievably important. And honestly, the game could be virtually impossible without that. If they don't trade each other out, they're going to put each other in either a 1v4 or a 1v3, and it's just not going to be a fun situation. And right there, we're talking not trading that player out. Now this player's in a 1v4 with a plant imminent. So Teku, unfortunately, ooh, beautiful shot coming out from him on the SMG-11, and now generally aware of the positioning of these players. He doesn't have any smokes left on the board. Yes, he does. Never mind. He has all of them, and he's going to use one. It's going to do a lot of damage to Tomato, but not enough. Now, in this situation, he has about 3 players worth of damage to take out, and he does have a shield in front of him as well. Perhaps if he had used that earlier, it could have been used to his advantage, but he did not, and now he needs to peek into this, and a player from behind, Nightmare, gonna shut that down, building a very nice crossfire, and ultimately going to lead to the end of MGK. And yeah, looks like
Another pause.
another pause. Yeah, sometimes Ubisoft can be the only savior that a team can rely on.
Good bounce back, at least for
Good
Imperium.
bounce back. No, agreed.
Despite losing that player too.
Yeah. So not gonna see too many tactical timeouts. I'm guessing just by the fact that everyone's getting their own tactical timeouts every couple rounds anyway.
Yeah, all is fair in love and war, as they say. In this case, I'm going to consider this war. Maybe there's some love going on. I don't know. Behind the scenes. Who knows what these
Yeah,
players do?
star-crossed lovers, Romeo and Juliet. I don't know. Romeo and Juliet, natural and tomato. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just saying it could happen.
Could happen.
But in any case, yeah, 2-3 favor of Imperium, showing that they play very well. And with Kanpeki returned, we are going to be able to start this quite promptly, especially with the attacker repick. Even if he gets picked some random operator, if he gets given, I don't know, Dokkaebi or something, he gets switch onto the Finka. But so he's gonna have enough time to pick that anyway.
Nah, just stick with the Doki.
Yeah, just stick the Doki. Boss GSMG12.
Yes, that's the total meme outfit that you need to finish off the half. Is going to be going to the final bomb site for MGK's defense. They're hoping to get the win here. Last time it was kind of close, but not really. They gave up the control and they didn't have the angles to deny the plant. It goes through, and then it's a 1v2 post plant situation for Kale, and they don't see the player above. So it's kind of rough on them. But again, that came on the back of just losing site control. Everyone was already over near pantry or around the table in kitchen area. Either way, they just lost that angle and lost the control and gave the Imperium a free plant. And after that, it's really hard to retake, especially if there's not someone already flanking while the plant's going down. So I expect them to play a little bit more aggressive off of site. Don't let them have that verticality so early on. And we see Weston and Kale are going to be up there in statue and trophy trying to do that extended hold above. Get the pulse again, just going to be feeding that information. Last time didn't net a lot. They used C4s and didn't get a single C4 kill. I'm almost positive. So hopefully this time, for their sake, they can clean that up, because that's utility just not being used to the best of its ability.
You know, speaking of utility, Kale and Lude and Weston rather have already opted to bring shields upstairs. Now that is going to apply a lot of pressure, and it's going to allow time while Imperium is trying to clear those for the pulse to get below them and hopefully direct a well-timed C4 at their feet. But whether or not they're actually going to be successful in that is another question. But if they are aware of the vertical play, that just the general way that you want to get everyone playing and how you can
Wow.
bait players into positions like that, then yeah.
3 people above. That's different.
Yeah, that's pretty aggressive, and the only two below playing with the two Nitro players. So, and Imperium as well, walking right into it. I don't know if they just haven't droned this out. I don't know if they just don't realize that there's only two players on site, or if they think that there's too much pressure from above to actually get an execute off. I mean, those are all possibilities.
Well, there's a nade kill coming up from Nightmare. Going to be netting the kill onto Lude Silent. They've been impactful. Weston, they'll get in the refrag onto Lunic. That's going to even up the man count. Halfway through this one now, the attackers are just starting to push in, but there's the C4 kills we're talking about. They're necessary, and they're coming into play, getting them the man advantage now. Time tricking down, and well, Spudsack knows that they have to get some kills here to try and make this execute possible. 3v3 now. The top floor control is gained. The defenders have already dodged down into the bottom floor, and only a minute remaining. Can they buy the necessary time here? The other thing is, do the attackers really have an avenue to try and get a plant down?
Yeah, now one thing I do want to point out really fast is that kill by Spudsack was a floor bang. So gotta throw some respect out to that. They have a little bit of an advantage playing the IQ, and well, that's just another operator that, while didn't find a whole lot of use last time, was able to find use this time. In any case, Imperium is really looking to try and dislodge these defenders. They're struggling to find them on the vert, and if they can't find them, well, their time is dwindling and they might run out. So they really need to get this rolling, and they need to start building an entry. Looks like they're going to be gearing up to go through China. Very powerful position for them to make it through, especially with that tendency of defenders to, apply a lot of pressure or just open up a lot of holes. Now with the player above, hopefully he can deny some pressure back, and he does manage to do that. But Kale is going to find the trade, and Weston on the flank, going to find the last kill as Kale from pantry picks up the other. That is going to be a 3-3 split.
Really good job from MGK. You saw in the round before, Imperium had found the counter to what they had seen last time with the extended hold. They start getting someone on 90, then they get some kills with nades as well. Someone repelling, I think that was Nightmare on the Astro window. Well, in this case, now MGK has their own counter. They lost this bomb site last time. They went to it. This time, they have a little bit of some adjustments, more top-heavy roam presence, and then they drop down. They get one of those C4 kills, which is really what they needed to try and keep it more even on the man count. And then this time, positioning is not a problem. The flank comes out at the right time this time. They're able to carry it through, and now we'll see, where is Imperium going to start? Well, Statue Trophy is their first bomb site. So a little different. They're going to hold it in a similar manner. Already seeing some different ops being brought. Yeah,
slightly different ops. I mean, we do have Thunderbird on the board for the first time this game, and Thunderbird is, generally speaking, a very powerful operator, especially when in conjunction with someone like a Rook, guaranteeing a down. And then now you can get them up and really start to juice them up as well. But also, not to mention, she brings the spear, she brings the bearing 9, both very powerful weapons, and on top of that, she gets them both at once. So she has a lot of fragging potential, and with the impacts that she brings in her pocket, it can really apply, well, help you apply a lot of pressure on an aggressive roam.
Well, with the aggressive roam, there's actually some help coming through on the attacking side. Oh, someone we haven't seen yet is the Ying. So those Candelas, we'll see if they can actually net anything. But oftentimes, even if you don't get a kill with them, you can make someone run away from you because they're just going to try and avoid as much as they can getting blindsided. But Kanpeki, again, having some connectivity issues. They're going to be dropping out of this round early, putting their team now in a man deficit without any engagement actually happening.
Ubisoft clearly biased towards Mungano wa Kwanzaa. And
Yeah.
now, now still, I mean, they are in the 4v5, but if they manage to quickly ducking behind that pillar, well done and able to get away. Very nice. But they do have a player kind of stuck out in Aviator Games. It's going to be difficult. And yeah, Weston is going to find that through the wall there very quickly as another kill comes out. So now we're in a 2v5. This is not going to be fun for the defenders at all, and they really need to get active if they want to find any success here. Trying to hold off and execute with only 2 players left on your side and 5 on the other is nearly impossible unless you have a team of like 5 Bolos and a Shaiko. That is 6 people. So
And those all being in bodies of 2 players would be very impressive. We're going to see the peak coming out, and Nightmare is going to shut down Lewd Silent.
beautiful.
That's at least the opening that they would like, but still more to be done here. So a lot of time still remains, over a minute. It's 2v4, so not as insurmountable. Position's going to be retaken into the bedroom, and then a nice peek out from Tomato onto Teku. Things are looking a little bit more up now for MGK. It's not. They're going to be losing the man advantage that they had gained, but still, they're up by 1 body at least, but they need to slow it down, get some more drone work. They've been pushing in. But the problem with the drone work is it's all up to Natural, or not, excuse me, not Natural, it's all up to Kale. They are the buck, and they had 2. Now they're down to 1 drone. The other 2 people who are alive don't have drones, and Iana's dead, so this is going to be a lot of face peeking.
Now, that was the exact kind of activity that I'm talking about. Not giving up map control, but still going in, finding the kills. And I believe they are going to be aware of his position. But wow, good entry by both of those players. Tomato is down, but potentially he might be able to find himself to a Kona station and pick himself up. Not so, as Kale cleans that up, leaving Nightmare with the spear and the bearing 9 alone. Now, as the plant goes down, he has to find this buck, and he knows the positioning, but this firefight is going to be a tough one to take. That C8 SFW is a very potent weapon. The spear as well, but maybe not quite as much. Now, Natural and Kale making a very wise decision, just back off, and it's going to force Nightmare to find activity that he has already proven that he's capable of finding. Now, with Kale all the way below as well, though, I mean, that's a buck. He knows where the plant is, and he can just kind of open up below it. And, oh, he's going to walk right into it. He's going to find the pick. This is now a 1v1, but only 15 seconds left. And a sliver of health. He has to find his Hibana, but he doesn't know where he is. And now 9, 8, and 7. And there is not enough time. This round is going to go towards MGK, and Natural, just for the KD, is going to finish it up anyway.
This game is awful. Yeah, Kempeki not too happy. Had he not disconnected earlier, could have been a difference. As it came down to the 1v1, you don't know what that extra body could have done. But unfortunately, it played out and just weren't able to quite make that comeback. Really valiant effort, though, a 2v5 and bringing it to a 1v1. Got to give him credit there. But still, MGK able to take the lead now, I think, for the first time in this matchup. And on their attacking half, no less. So, as you said, that attacker repick perhaps going to be a little bit more influential than perhaps first thought.
Moving on to Kitchen Dining, not actually going to Aviator Games. A lot of teams opting to remove that to their tertiary position. And sometimes I've even seen some teams playing Living Dining just because a lot of teams don't really know how to attack it very well. But in any case, yeah, right. But in any case, that's such a T4 T4, T3 thing, and now with the attacker repick slightly less viable, but we're actually going to be seeing a horizontal extension as well as a slight vertical extension. Not sure how MGK is going to play this, so they want to give themselves as much flexibility as possible in maneuvering themselves around. And Kanpeki playing the pulse, hopefully not going to suffer from Ubisoft's wrath this time and net their team 1 or 2 nitro kills.
Interesting to see Ella brought for the first time, and you know, she's okay. I would think maybe she's usually used in that closet upstairs with the concussions, and then you just try and shotgun people. But in this case, she's actually not bringing the shotgun either. So we'll see how well they can handle that gun. It can lose control pretty rapidly. That's my main concern with it. But it has a fast fire rate, no less. So the Scorpion's still capable in some people's hands. We'll see if Nightmare can do it. But they're 7-3 right now, so they're probably feeling pretty good. The extended hold is not going to be quite reaching out towards the planes and games, but there's some lurking going on, and there's actually a player down below if you saw the outline. So something else to just keep in the back of our minds. But Nightmare going to take a lot of damage and downed, in fact. Not quite finished off, but they're going to need some help from the teammates so they don't get finished here.
Unfortunately, Natural is going to manage to find that just before Tomato is there to come to the rescue. So now in a 5v4, MGK is probably feeling pretty confident, but they still have a lot of map control to penetrate. As they try to take this master position with the sledge and as well as applying pressure through the knot, it is going to become relatively easy to take control of that. A lot of the players of Imperium, while Vigil is still kind of ratting there in that corner, a lot of the players have opted to leave, and it is going to give them a lot of control. But with the pulse playing below and Vigil still unaware, and the players on MGK completely unaware of Vigil's position, this could be huge. Pulse applying just enough pressure. Ooh, jump out, but
Refrag,
gonna
though.
get traded. Lewd Silent in the right place at the right time.
I was going to point out Lewd Silent pushing up. Actually would have had the kill on them, I think, anyway. But there's the C4. It's going to even up things for them. Kale off the board. Now it's all up to the 3 players of Teku, Natural, and Lewd Silent to get something going here. It's only a minute, a little less, actually, remains. A free-place Nitro is actually maybe going to hurt them now because there's no one going to be pushing that position necessarily. Could still happen. So we do see, I think that's Sophia above, but she's playing with some soft breach to get the floor opened up. They didn't finish it off with the sledge, so they need some help. She's going to be the one doing that job. That the push in through Teku in Memo is going to get the kill, and another one onto Tomato. That's going to seal the deal virtually here as they have full site control. It's all up to Spudsack trying to push in through China. A 1v3 situation. 20 seconds remain. They're trying to find where this plant would be going down, but there it is. Teku triple on the round seals it off. MGK taking a little bit more of a lead.
Beautiful entry by Teku, really clearing out that map control, leaving only the player left in clock, and suddenly now an execute is coming through. 5-3 for MGK, and they are going to be feeling very good. And this is a map that traditionally is very defender-sided. Now we're seeing it come out even/attacker-sided. I mean, attacker repick, you say what you want, but from a purely objective point of view. Objective or subjective? I don't know. It's been a while since I was in high school. But in any case, from a purely statistical point of view, okay, it is making this game more attacker-sided. I don't think it will be more attacker-sided than it was already defender-sided. So I think it's really just going to be a good change for this game. And I think it's already making things a lot more interesting. I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch attackers win. Let's be real.
True, and I mean, to be fair, it is a small sample size, you know, so who knows for sure.
That's true. That's
it's
true.
One map. We'll see if other teams go to this map, then we can have a little bit more data and make a little bit more of a claim that has more relevance when it comes to overarching themes. But all we can say is what we see here, and you're right. So far, it has been a little bit more attacker-sided. MGK feeling very confident in their swings and just feeling confident in their strategies. They are not playing to the tune of Imperium whatsoever, just going and pushing wherever they'd like to. We saw that the position wasn't fully found out, but the refrag was there on that Vigil lurking. And that was something that it could have been a game changer had it not been shut down right there and then. So that's something else that I just want to credit them for. They've always been really good at just being in the timing on attack, because on defense they actually had some poor timing in certain areas. Here on attack, they haven't shown us as much of a weakness.
Yeah, the attack seems to be pretty potent, and that is poor timing if I've ever seen it. Kenpeki gonna take out Teku as he tries to make an entry into the bicycle closet, and really it looks like MGK, or not MGK, sorry, Imperium is going to be making a very solid hold on this bottom floor. They really don't want to get them below, and they really don't want to let them be below. They don't want to lose to any more of those nades that we saw coming out last time they played this, and wow, there you go, already 3v4, few trades coming back and forth, and Weston unfortunately is found out is going to have to fall back. MGK may need to consider a completely different style of approach, but Lude Silent is already on the site. And now, I mean, he and Weston being the last two alive, but they have already made their way most of the way up, and most of the players playing on the side of Imperium, I guess half are downstairs. So on the site, they have the potential to take two 1v1s, and suddenly they have control of the site. They can make and execute, but it's like they're opting instead to try and clean out these players on the bottom floor, and it's not going to be successful. Spudsack making an aggressive peek, leaving Weston in a 1v4 situation.
Not where you want to be, like, ever, really. But
No.
you have the LMG in hand, but Becky's going to actually shut it down before anything can actually happen there. Imperium bouncing back a bit. They're still down one round, but looking a lot more surefire in that defense. I think that was actually the opposite of what I was talking about with MGK. I was saying they're playing to their own tune. This time they actually fall into the trap, right? They fall prey to the bait below. They try and clear out those players below, and they get slammed down for it. Unfortunately, they weren't able to recover from it either. Imperium, though, really good job from them switching up the strategy a little bit, trying to get MGK to fall into their hands versus just falling into the tune that they've been singing this whole time. It's going to allow them at least to net one round, but can they keep it up? Moving into a new bomb site, we'll see. It's going to be downstairs, actually.
MGK was kind of all over the place during that round, I'm not going to lie. I mean, at what, a minute and a half, they had a player in the site and then three players downstairs. One was in the basement. I mean, like you mentioned, they had good timing on attack, but I don't think that was a very clean example. Their positioning just seemed like they were all over the place in terms of all four dimensions.
Caster's Curse, you compliment them for something, and then they do the exact opposite.
Right.
It's just how it goes in Siege. Siege timing, it works even with the caster's interplay with the players. But something being brought that we haven't seen is going to be that cap can. I haven't seen too many rushes coming through from MGK. They do take control, but usually it's what's given to them. We'll see if the drone works on point here, or are they going to fall prey to those traps, because that could be some easy health ticks going down if they're not careful.
MGK does have a Finka on their side, as per usual, might I mention. And so now, I mean, even if they do manage to run through those, unless they run through a nuke, they could just get their health back pretty promptly. It might not end up being that much of an issue. Lunik going to start applying pressure all the way over on the south side, as well as Kanpeki playing below, and looking for those players is going to spot out Lude Silent, and he knows that he's going to swing that. Lude Silent, though, playing deep in that corner. Looked like there was a player ready to swing, but not going to happen. But he's going to find a couple shots, but not enough. Lunik making an aggressive swing, though, is going to finish off the Sophia, the lone Sophia, so far away from any of their teammates, and really paying for it with their life.
Yeah, that's really solo, like, ridiculous. But hey, Kale can get a refrag, and that's going to be on the pulse too. That's not going to be shutting down a really nasty pest that could have been feeding information the entire time here, no longer able to do so. So that is one kill that you really wanted early, and they got it. So I think they're actually probably pretty happy with that trade. Yeah, you lost some utility on the Zofia, but you don't have a pulse feeding information the entire round. It's going to allow the Sledge to do their job from above a lot more easily. Not going to be falling prey, but they need that top floor control if they want to go for it. Maybe, though, they're going to ignore it. Everyone's here on the first floor. They're just going to do a site push and ignore the vertical pressure.
I don't know, but generally what I see when I see this, and what teams will do is they'll take care of that, and then they'll start rotating over towards the pantry, get the pantry wall open, and now you have two lanes of pressure that you can apply. But Tomato is going to make that just that much more difficult, because they can only split up their team 2 and 1, and now Teku is going to be in a tough situation, especially without the harm breach on the board. pantry is just going to be that much more difficult to cause an impression on. But Teku with a beautiful entry through the pantry window. Well, I guess not an entry, but a kill nonetheless, is going to open up a little bit more opportunity for MGK to find their way into the site. Question is, where is Imperium playing? Are they above? I'm not entirely sure. There is still a Nitro on their side, but will be useful.
Diffuser's down too is the other thing. They need to pick it up. It's over in living room. So unless they're just going to get these kills really quickly here, they need to start picking that up. But here it comes. The push coming through. They're going to find the player on red. That's a nice shot from Weston. Now with 3v2, they need to clean this up quickly. But Nightmare's going to shut down Teku on the other side of things. So that's going to make it a lot less likely. Kale fighting Tomato. Now it's all going to be up to Nightmare, who got that kill. They're going to get grenaded out here. But if the swing comes through, Weston actually with the LMG gets the kill. And a close round, but MGK makes it happen.
Yeah, moving on to match point. MGK now prepared to take this all the way. It is round 11 in Imperium. And well, if I've seen anything from them, they do have a chance to bring this back. Absolutely. This game has been very close. Most of these rounds coming down to 1 or 2 players. And now we see them finally going to Aviator Games. This is a site they have not yet chosen, so we don't have any data on. And I just want to say that smoke player card looks so clean. I love that. It looks so good.
Yes,
I love
yes,
that.
it does. It looks sick. I love it.
Sick, as the kids say.
Disgusting, as some might say. But we're going to see planes and games being brought in. We haven't seen too much of this bomb site from Imperium. They've kind of avoided it, in fact, so that makes me think that they're not super confident in this bomb site. As you've seen, they've gone more for trophy and then kitchens, so who knows? Maybe it is just a little trick in their pocket, though, to pull this out now as they need it. As you mentioned, this is match point here. One more round and it's done. MGK just need one and they can be done for the day, at least against this team, and move on. I think that Kempeki being on the Wamai is concerning because he's someone who has to stick around, and the disconnection is useless. Hopefully it doesn't come into play here, because that's someone you want around later in the round.
Yeah, don't pick fights with Ubisoft, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to win. In any case, yeah, fairly standard roam, not super aggressive, going to apply just a little bit of pressure on the north side of the map as, well, that's where MGK is going to end up taking from, at least with 3 of their members. But Spudsack and Lunik are going to be standing in their way, shooting drones, maybe popping some heads if they get lucky, and hopefully managing to fall back. That's really going to be a huge question, but Lude Silent already going to find Tomato, who I believe was peeking from the study window.
You're smoke, too.
You're smoke.
Why are you peeking? You're the denial of the plant, man. All right, whatever.
I mean,
5v4.
It would have been a good clip. He hits that with an SMG-11, and suddenly he gets offers. Spudsack, though, going to clean up Kale, and now we're back to a 4v4.
It was a good job. I thought that swing from the sledge was actually going to win out there, but they did not. A lot of damage was done, and there is no health to help them, and that's going to be the finish on the kill from Lude Silent, so that gives them the man advantage yet again. They have to contest with this player playing over in the trophy area. They're going to take a lot of damage as they're going to be escaping with their pal, in fact. That's a nice wall bang, a triple kill from Lude on the round. They're carrying them forward, trying to carry them over the line. They're up now 2-man advantage. The players pushing into 90 here. They're just trying to get the map control they know is necessary. It's only halfway through the round. They can drone. They can take their time here. That shield over in maps area is going to be taken care of as well. These defenders are going to be reeling. They don't have a lot to help them out. Not a lot of time favoring them either. Too much time, in fact. These attackers are just going to start pushing in. Nightmare getting 1, getting 2, trying to keep them alive. The push-up red also helping out. And it's actually a 1v1 as Nightmare is down.
Teku already here, already applying a lot of pressure, and they are aware of the position of Lunik as well, but Lunik has the diffuser. He doesn't have to do anything here. He can wait for Teku to push and hopefully get a little bit of information that Nightmare might be able to feed him from the position that he's in downed. Now, in this case, it looks like the diffuser is actually in the site. Teku gonna find fourth? Wait,
no, that's inaccurate. That's a bug.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
that
doesn't seem right. But in any case, Lunik versus Teku 1v1, and Lunik gonna get spotted out on a drone that he struggles to shoot, and playing behind bar, he's gonna get off the diffuser and find the kill. MGK is going to finish that round and the match Well played by Mungano.
Really good job from them on their attacking half. They just started to soar after getting an even split on defense. Imperium held up pretty well in that first half, but when it came to defense, things just fell apart a bit. I think the nice holds from different angles caught the defenders unaware. The opening picks have been in favor of MGK. Even on their first half, when they were on their defense, they got opening kills pretty frequently. On attack, it didn't slow down at all. So really good job. That's something to highlight. They're really good at getting those opening picks, and it sets the tone. Unfortunately, it's a tone that Imperium weren't able to keep up with.
Yeah, Mungano or Kwanzaa, for all the aggression that they had, did do a very good job of controlling the pacing of the round, both on attack and defense, and I want to commend them for that. I will say, I think they managed to temper their egos a little bit. If they were present, obviously, it's all just speculation. But in any case, I mean, very successful attack on both teams' side. I mean, finding three on attack on Villa can be pretty tough. Obviously, I'm gonna say it. Tacker pick, gonna change things up. I think it'd be silly not to say that. But
It's fair.
in any case, Mungano and Kwanzaa are going to finish it out.
They take the win here. Moving forward in the season, we'll see how things go. But that's, I think, going to be it for us. The second match was unfortunately canceled on us, so we don't have that second one coming up here. But is there
Yeah.
anything else left to say, or is this just good night?
Well, I do actually want to offer some thanks out to our observer Schmitty, who also helps a lot with the league, and Narwhals, our production. And look at this production. Isn't it gorgeous? I love it. So huge shout out to those guys. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna be done here with this league. So thank you everyone for coming out. And yeah, I mean, we don't really have much of a
Catch you
standings
another time.
update.
Yeah.
I'd offer you a standings update, but one game isn't very much to give you a standings update. Once again, $800 prize pool. So keep an eye. These teams are going to be vying for this spot. But thank you, everyone, for coming out and visiting. And we will see you all next time.
Yeah. Have a good
Shut up and sit down. Romantic, isn't it? Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down.
Romantic, isn't it?
Shut up and sit down.
Welcome back to the All World Gaming R6 League. I'm Time Delight. That right there is Schmitty. We have pulled Schmitty out of the observing pit of doom and brought them onto the cast. Schmitty, how you feeling? Well, that's being fixed. Hopefully I have audio on vMix. Apparently I do. So hi, how you doing? Glad you could join us.
Okay.
We are back with game number technically 3 on the day. We had a cancellation, so you had a little bit of an extended break. Apologies for that one, but thank you very much to our previous casters who had to miss a game. Feels bad, man. Wiaku and Yali. Yali I've known for a very long time. Wiaku I haven't gotten the opportunity to cast with yet, so hopefully that changes relatively soon. But Schmitty, on to this game. It is our
Yes.
final game of the night. Unfortunately, we did have a cancellation for our 10 o'clock game, so that ain't going to happen either. Thoughts?
9 o'clock game, but
Math is hard. You get the point.
well, this one we're seeing two really good teams come at it. Goomba Gang, probably haven't heard too much of them, but they do have Talon on their roster, and he is one star player, a fantastic entry. The other team they're going against Lycus Empire, which they took the first qualifiers by storm. They went 6-0-2. Not a whole lot of rounds lost against them. Think they were, I believe, almost plus 30 for their round differential by the end of it all.
It was looking good for them through the qualifiers. I kept a little bit of an eye on it. Of course, I wasn't able to cast it. Feels bad, man. But
unfortunately, none of it was casted.
yeah, that feels bad. But
Yes,
into our first play day. First play day? Second play day? 17th play day?
first
what
play
is
day.
First play day? Yeah, we do Sundays. I forgot about that. Genius. I thought we did Saturdays still. I want to do Saturdays. Hey, people, play on Saturdays so we can do Saturdays. But into game number 3, kind of on the day-ish, because game 2 was a cancellation. Lycus Empire and Goomba Gang. Goomba Gang last week beat out Goosek. That was a 7-1 rout, and Goosek has exited stage left, so we won't see any more of them, unfortunately. Lycus Empire into this one. I don't know who to favor. I'm not going to lie to you. What do you think?
My personal feeling, I'm leaning towards Lycus Empire on this one. While Goomba Gang may have that one-star player, I haven't seen a whole hell of a lot of explosive gameplay from the other players on the team just yet. So we may see some surprising rounds come out, but likely it's going to favor Lycus.
As I think, just based off of our qualifier stats, it probably should. The odds of everything following qualifier stats are slim to none. For instance, Bandit is banned. The last time I saw a Bandit ban on any map was back in year 5. So it's been a little while. I'm honestly a little surprised that we're seeing Bandit banned. Usually it's a Cade, but I guess
Bandit ban with still Thatcher on the board, leaving Cade up. That wall is going to be very easy to take, even with Cade on the board. It's probably only going to take the teams a few seconds at most, if not. No, go ahead.
Is Goomba just not going to bring it that? They do have attacker repick, but are they just not going to bring a Thatcher?
It does not look like it. They may not have practiced with it.
I actually want to get your opinion on this. Now that you said they haven't practiced with it, usually Thatcher's banned. And by usually, I mean like 99, 98% of the time in your competitive matches, Thatcher is banned. So if you're an attacking team, when Thatcher is available, would you rather maybe sub out somebody who would be playing on somebody different, or would you just stick with your normal comp that you practice with?
Out of personal choice, I would rather see that Maverick swapped out for the Thatcher. While Maverick does still provide great utility for the team, opening smaller lines of sight in weird spots, Thatcher just makes the Hard Breach's job so much easier. They can actually get through that wall quickly. There's no real forewarning that it's coming.
That makes sense. I'm a little surprised that we're seeing 3 hard breachers. Usually you see max 2. With that being said, there's also no Cade, because usually if you're Lycus, you'd expect a Thatcher. So you don't usually bring that hard breach denial like a Cade because it's so easily dealt with. So Goomba Gang are going to have 3 completely unrestricted hard breachers minus impact grenades. Impact tricking's still a thing, and well, Thatcher EMPs can't take care of that, so you still bring those. Messiah making quick strides though with the LMG out. This is good time made by Goomba Gang. There's not a lot of a roam game.
No, not much of a roam game at all. But was that bar game, or sorry, bar storage that they were playing? Didn't quite catch what that was.
They're
No,
down
that is
to
basement.
Shores.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Overlay just misaligning, I guess, on my end. As we see Messiah pushing up through bar, taking that quick control, abusing the fact that that roam is just not there. But underneath the hatch, we see Chill playing, possibly prepared for that impact trick that you were talking about earlier.
I wonder where the smoke is playing. That's really my only question. The smoke should be over towards dirt. I think I just saw an outline of them. Yeah, smoke. Yeah, there they are.
Absolutely,
Right
deep in dirt there.
K2 making some quick strides towards that dirt position through that hard wall, the reinforced wall. Yeah, it's open. Nobody's going through it. So it's just a risk that they have to keep in mind on Lycus Empire side. But nothing opened on the top floor just yet, at least not towards the Arsenal side. Talon trying to make some strides in that same direction. The sledgehammer out, but not getting any kills just yet. Nobody's even taken any damage thus far. Everybody's still at their full HP mark, whatever that may be, depending on who you are playing. Nobody at above 110. Of course, if you're a 3 armor, you get 125 armor, or 125 health.
Yeah, and that health change has really made a difference over the last couple of seasons. Oh, almost a kill there. And Slickly finding the first blood of the round on the head of Focal. Evil Clouds going down to K2. PKers with the smoke, getting another one on the blue stairs.
They cannot allow this plant. Never mind, they do. They allow the plant to go down. But quick strides back the other way. It's a 3 versus 3 in this post plant. 37 seconds on the clock. They have to get on the diffuser with 7 seconds remaining to be able to defuse it. A 1-for-1 trade as Talon takes out PKers, but Slickly is also dropped. K2 down to 10 HP. 1 shot and he will fall. Almost full HP for Chill, and they're both down. This round is over as long as they get the kills and don't get blown up by C4s or Claymores. Either of those things are going to happen. They will get on that diffuser with more than 7 seconds on the clock, but that's it. Round 1 goes the way of the defense. Lycus Empire take it.
And what a quick way to end that round. Lycus Empire coming in strong with that good plant spot. They got the push in multiple different directions, so the defense was, well, definitely handling things strongly. But the attack still just faltering on that post-plant position. The smokes very well placed, taking out some of the angles that they were trying to hold. And Jaeger in a great position, using those feet holes through the bottom of blue near generator, just to deny that moto hallway.
Back to the top floor, at least up to the top floor for the first time. In this one, I expected the top floor first. Usually you don't see Church Arsenal as a first site for teams because it's so volatile. A lot of times you'll see attacking teams and aggressive attacking teams like Goomba Gang take quick control and punish you for it. But Goomba Gang, their post plant, just not good enough, so Lycus will head up to CCTV and Cash. Cade will be played this time around, and K2, in seeing that, will switch to the Thatcher. So it was smart play from Goomba to really just not pick a Thatcher that round because they didn't need one, in all fairness to them. This time around, they do. Cade being on the board, of course. They will open up some of those holes on the side. Maybe set up for Cade tricking. The odds of that happening are slim to none, though, because you have to Cade trick without a Cade on the wall unless you want to use your second Cade to do it. I'd be a little surprised if that happened, though.
Now, one thing that I want to touch on briefly, the main wall in server there, they put a lot of shotgun holes through it, essentially making the wall Swiss cheese before reinforcing. This is a primary thought to countering what would be a Maverick play. It makes his job very difficult. It keeps the lines of sight from going too easily, and it occasionally stops some of the reinforcement from going. But in this case, without Maverick on the board, K2 shutting off the Cade, and Slickly opening the walls with ease thanks to Thermite.
Yeah, and Thatcher you usually think is like a no-skill operator in terms of the EMPs, but that was really well timed from K2. You saw the Cade Claw be thrown out as that thermite exothermic charge was going off, but you also heard the EMP go off as it was going through. So the Electric Claw denied, the EMP played to perfection, and Thatcher is indeed a skilled operator in this context. The wall is opened, as is the one towards the construction side. The start of the round again for Goomba Gang going well, but I said that back in round 1 as well, and that time around it didn't.
Oh, not quite going in their favor last round, but this round they don't have quite as much damage taken on the initial push. And Talon, whoa, explosive push into sight, taking the first kill. K2 taking a little bit of damage.
Oh no.
Talon taking out the back of the K2's head with Messiah and Perplexed coming into support. This is a bloodfest here. Slickly down, trying to get that plant with just Jaeger left on the defense. 1v1 with Messiah on the Finca. Positions not fully known. Big guy on Jaeger, still on red stairs, trying to... Oh, and the fight goes down. Messiah watching the rotate now.
Big guy looking to push up towards that red door. Messiah peeks that way, but not fully. Does not clear that corner. Now looks to put down the diffuser. Big guy making very little noise, and the fake comes through. Messiah down to 1 HP. Big guy in that same right, but the down comes through. The Finca stim, it's not going to matter. The adrenal syringe, or charge, my apologies, will not keep them up. Lycus go 2 for 2 in these first 2 rounds. Head into round number 3, and most likely are going to go Gym Bedroom up 2-0.
Absolutely, and that was a great initial push. Unfortunately, the team kill definitely curbed their momentum on that. Slickly getting caught, unfortunately, on the entry. It looked like that was a C4 that caught him, judging by the explosion on the floor. Could have very well have been Cade just in better positioning.
I think it was the Cade that just had the quick C4 placed, but the rotation wasn't good enough. You had the jump out towards the rafters inside of the garage, and that's what dealt with the rotations up. It was like you said, in the middle of the round, a bloodbath. 5 players dead just in 2 seconds, and 8 players dead over the next 12. It seemed like everybody was dropping, and over that quick period of time, Goomba Gang just weren't able to pick it up, nor put it down, it being the diffuser twice over. Lycus now towards Gym Bedroom. Now, Gym Bedroom as a meta has changed drastically over the last couple of months, if not the last year-ish, depending on how you want to play it. It used to be, you play cash, you don't have a choice. You reinforce a little bit over towards the construction side, but not too much. Now, the options, you waste a reinforcement or 2 over towards the CCTV wall, the main wall that we saw in the previous round, where the EMP had such efficacy. Now, you just focus construction. You play a little bit of logistics, you play a lot of it towards that jacuzzi side, and maybe you have a roam towards that other side, focal being that roam in the CCTV room itself.
Oh,
I like
absolutely. That roam, as you said earlier, is usually a little bit more reinforced, at least in past seasons. Seeing the full server wall along with the red wall reinforced, mutes placed, but it doesn't seem they're taking that route this time, opting to go for a less utility used on that end. And there they are, clearing the first mute jammer so that Slickly can open the hot tub wall. Chill
Already
being their first point of contact in bathroom, possibly in a few moments here.
Yeah, it's quick walls opened yet again. This time Slickly focuses towards jacuzzi wall and the construction wall rather than CCTV and construction. Lycus are looking good, but Goomba, again, are making quick strides. I've said that now twice. They've lost now twice, in all fairness, to the Lycus Empire defense. I'm favoring the defense for obvious reasons. It's the defense usually you favor it, but at the same time, Goomba Gang have had that attacker repick option in their pocket, yet haven't used it to its full effectiveness just yet. Big guy looking to possibly prep a bottom side C4. In goes a little bit of an explosive, but it's not going to hit anything. Chill will not get anything out of that one. Big guy, like I said, trying to prep that C4 from below. And as the Valkyrie, who better to do it?
Yes, and Chill and K2 looking like they're trading a little bit of damage there. Chill taking a little less. PKers coming in strong with the first pick against Messiah. That is a lot of health taken off the board because Finka still had a few of her charges left, and that's, although a small heal, that is still plenty to keep the attackers healthy and pushing forward. And
C4.
that... Oh,
It actually would have gotten Talon. Oh no, it's not used. Chill is down, slickly trying to make strides, but doesn't get anything. Evil will be dropped by the aforementioned Talon. It's a 4 versus 3, now a 3 versus 3, but Chill is down, so a theoretical 2 versus 3, and now down to 2 and 2. Diffuser, not put down nor dropped just yet. It is in K2's pocket, so is yet another kill. Big guy in a 1 versus 2 has the information. That's the most important part. If they wait too long to put this C4 or the diffuser down, Big guy can get the C4 kill. They're trying to put it down. Big guy does not have that C4 positioning because they're putting it over that hard breach place. Perplexed, up above, locking down the angle, plays it perfectly. Goomba gang pick up their first round. It took till the tertiary site to do so, but first steps are always the hardest. They've broken that barrier.
absolutely. Now, with what we've been seeing coming from Goomba Gang so far, they're taking a rather slow approach on the initial take. Almost a minute and 30 seconds before they're even really into the building or putting pressure on the site in any way. So hopefully, in the next few rounds here, we see a little bit more of a pressured take on them. A bit more effort put into taking control of other sections of the map, more swift takes of the site itself. Might throw Lycus a little more off their game than they currently seem to be on.
I think their first 2 rounds... Oh my goodness. Your eyes do not deceive you this time, Schmitty. Round 4 is bar, or the theoretical
bar stage. Let's
bar
go.
Stage.
This site not normally played. For a long time, this site was not exactly viable. Was that a clash too?
There's a clash, an alibi, an echo, an Aruni, and a mute. For reference for all of you who have not been here for the first 3 rounds played, only one of those 5 mentioned operators have seen play thus far this game. Mute being that only operator, and we saw that in our previous round. The rest, not seen a single time. Echo makes sense. You want to have that plant denial. Alibi, a little bit. Of course, you have the MX4, which is kind of a crack gun. Unless they're bringing the ACS, then I'm just questioning my reality. The Echo, I like the MP5 SD. Probably my favorite gun on defense for the sole reason it's suppressed. It has a 1.5 and very little recoil, along with a decent bit of damage being put through. The MK14 on the Aruni, again, makes sense. I want to see how they play the Aruni, and of course you have the shotgun available on Evil Clouds, who gets the opener. Down goes Talon. 1 player from the British place taking out the other, and that's just an unfortunate start. Talon not expecting anybody on the bottom floor. Not the opener you're looking for if you're Goomba Gang.
No, not at all. And with the player that was taken out on that one, it's going to put Goomba on such a back foot because Talon is their primary fragger. He going explosive in their last match. This match having a little bit slower of a start, but with that roam catching him so easily, that's got to feel good for Lycus.
Up above goes the Alibi, big guy trying to play that top floor roam, and really it's just the Clash playing the info towards this strip side. The diffuser is dropped intentionally, not unintentionally. It was not forced down by this defensive side. Slickly just trying to get some information and maybe a kill, mostly info thus far, as the Clash is not going to turn her back to you, at least not quickly enough. Messiah with nades in pocket. I don't think you get a kill here unless you time a nade perfectly. Will it land? No.
Landing just shy, being caught by that pool table. And in this situation here, even if that grenade landed just in front of Chill or just beside, it may not have fully killed him due to that shield blocking part of the damage. It would have given Messiah an opportunity to shoot Clash's ankles briefly, but at that distance with the pool table in the way, Chill was pretty safe.
I believe we have fallen into the audio bug. We have indeed. Welcome to the audio bugged Rainbow Six Siege. Final 50 seconds will not be heard by you, plus ratio. That's all it comes down to. Ubisoft decided to wreck all of your ears, or save them, depending on how you feel about the Rainbow Six Siege sound system. Lycus, on the defensive side here in bar stage, or the tokened bar by me, myself, and I. Goomba Gang on the attacking side, down 2 players, and they don't have a lot of room to show for it. Slickly has just snuck himself behind the bar, but Evil, what is that shot? A triple kill on the round, and another headshot, this time onto Messiah. K2 trying to get the kill onto the Clash, will not get it. It's a 1 versus 5. The Thermite, not really the fragger most times, will find one, but that may be all. That is indeed all. Bar stage will go the way of Lycus Empire. The least played site on the map, the most convincing win for Lycus.
Yeah, and that looked like Lycus just let Goomba Gang walk in so that they could surround them and take this site back so quickly. That must be a bit demoralizing on Goomba Gang's end. This time around, taking CCTV and Cash Room, once again, we've seen a full 4-site rotation here. Not much of a change on their operator lineup here, and it looks like Goomba, expecting it to be a basement, is bringing back out that Maverick.
Yeah, but in all fairness, you do still have the attacker repick. I think I'm going to pick the notion of not talking too much about the attacker lineup until after the round starts. I want to see how it goes for them, though, because
absolutely.
You have the Thatcher available if you do indeed want it. The Cade will be brought this time around as they head back to CCTV Cache, so you're almost certainly going to see K2 switch to that Thatcher, which was played so effectively last time. If we don't see that switch, I'm going to be surprised. Talon makes the switch from the Zofia to the Sledge, understandable, as the Sledge really only effective on the bottom floor sites. There is no bottom floor this time around, nor is there a top floor to take through other than that hatch above the far side. Not really going to be seen. K2 only has 10 seconds to switch, though. There you go.
And there comes the Thatcher, and I believe that is the Sledge to the Zofia, other way around. But
oh yeah, I'm stupid.
So, good. The new attacker repick is still new to us. We are still learning it ourselves. It's going to catch us a little off guard time to time. That stage looking a bit worse for wear now. Big guy probably going to be using this to watch over the storage entry. Perplexed, going for the garage wall initially. It looks like that is Wamai just hiding in behind the table, most likely going to find a quick gunfight with Perplexed. Perplexed is rotating around to the other side, looking instead for the doorway.
Evil looking to stay... Nope, never mind. Perplexed has indeed seen them. Now do they try and push this? No. Evil backs away and moves around towards R1. Slickly looking to put down that exothermic charge, and goes yet another EMP that should land. Off goes the exothermic, and away goes most of that main wall. Again, Goomba Gang making good strides, but they're 1 for 3 in terms of winning rounds, and 1 for 3 in terms of... winning rounds off of making good strides. Sorry, my math is hard as well. Don't do math on the stream, kids. It's not smart.
We can't fault either of us for that one. I'm bad at math too, don't you worry. With this one, though, Slickly still looking on the drone. Talon trying to find some quick peeks through that rappel. Messiah working his way up. Oh, not up red stairs. That's through storage. Trying to find the grenades underneath. Looks like Malusi will find big guys. There we go. Finds the head of Messiah, taking him out. Perplexed, taking a bunch of damage while fighting over here with... Where is that fight going on?
It's R2 outside towards the garage.
All right. Slickly working his way up to the roof.
Perplexed was attempting to push on towards Big Guy, who was playing over towards the bar side, and then, well, Evil Clouds was like, no, the heck you do not, and put them down to 10 HP. Not the good start, but there's one back. The LMGE will indeed find Big Guy, who is now 6 feet under, so not as tall as he once may have been. Talon, a good opener. That's exactly what you need. There is no C4 prepped, though. There is still plant denial. I think that's the most important part. You do still have that smoke with 3 toxic babes in pocket. Speaking of them, out goes one and off goes one. You're looking for focal on the C4 as well for that plant denial. K2 has that diffuser in hand, but it may not even matter. Perplexed finds one. Another goes the way of Slickly, but Perplexed does fall. With only 10 HP, a single shot was all that was required. Chill, looking across focal, trying to make strides in. The diffuser will not go down. That... Oh no! A pre-placed C4 is found, but it's not gonna matter. Talon with a double, lining them up and knocking them down. The LMGE goes burr, as does the Goomba gang score up to 2.
That pre-play C4, such perfectly timed. That was just placed underneath the server window, I believe just above the vending machine down there.
Mhm.
I'm not certain. Was that the Cade that set? Yeah, the Cade
Yeah.
was that one. Very good positioning for that C4. Unfortunately, though, with the two of them doubling up on that angle, that meant that they couldn't watch the wall as they pushed in, trying to clear out the rest of that window, giving Talon the free peek on them both.
I'm a little surprised they both peaked from the same place, especially with where that C4 was. They placed it perfectly. I think they should have trusted their judgment on that one. Of course, you usually don't place a C4 there. You place it below default, which is a little further left of the aforementioned vending machine. But hey, they are playing competitively. I am not. I'm just talking about the game competitively. So see that as you will. Lycus Empire now looking to make it a 4-2 split at halftime. Again, most of these maps are defensive sided, but the advantage that Goomba Gang does bring on the attacking side is having that attacker repick. Messiah going from Sledge to Finka, Talon not bringing the Sledge this time around. I'm a little surprised we're not seeing the Sledge now that they are on the bottom floor. Perplexed going on to the Thatcher. Questionable. I think they want to bring that to deal with the Banshees and maybe the Evil Eyes. And maybe the Wamais, questionably. But there's
Most
a lot
likely
of
the
utility
Evil Eyes
denial.
at this point. Not too much wall denial going on here. It's at most they're going to be shutting off the Melusi Banshees and the. Oh, no Evil Eyes on board at all. Just
Black Eyes. I
Black
was
Eyes.
thinking Black Eyes. Yep. Yep. I see Maestro too much because Valkyrie's banned a lot. I'm stupid.
Yes.
Don't mind me. Things are called things, and I'm not smart.
Oh, and with so many things sharing similar names too these days.
No, right?
Who can keep it all straight? Messiah taking quick control over Red Stairs here, trying to push down, trying to catch that sneaky angle on the top of Secret. Big guy playing deep in Generator here, watching for the oil pit drop. It looks like that is Talon prepping to take that now. Messiah clearing out storage, moving on to Bar. Nothing really to be found here, unfortunately.
I don't know why Lycus brings a lot of these roaming enabling operators without actually roaming. That's my main question for them. We're seeing the EMPs thrown out early. You do see that dealing with everything that could be there. Of course, there's no Cade this time around, so it's not really dealing with anything in terms of wall denial, or at least hard breach denial at that point, considering, hatches aren't walls. But Focal looking to just establish a lot of control towards that same side because the Wamais allow you to re-peek based off of the utility thrown in. Maybe it gives Goomba Gang a false sense of security. Maybe they're throwing a flashbang, a smoke, maybe even a nade, thinking something's clear when it is indeed not. But Goomba Gang now splitting their push. They're making it a lateral and a horizontal push. The X and the Z axes. Axes?
Axes. And with no contestation of dirt at all, it looks like they might get a free pick on, I believe that is Smoke sitting there. Not quite yet. Nobody pushing to get that intel. Talon making the drop.
Ooh.
Big guy finding his head almost immediately. That will dissuade Goomba Gang from pushing further down oil, but they are still pressuring from blue stairs. PKers on the Smoke, still trying to delay that push. More push coming in from dirt. Messiah almost finding the head of Smoke, getting a little bit of damage. Where?
There's the pinch, though.
Oh, Perplex
Perplex from the
coming
far
in from
side.
the other side. My apologies. I thought that was the same team. Perplex getting this plant down now. Messiah cleaning up some of the site. Evil Clowns and Focal forced back. 1v2.
Flexed. Gonna try and lock this down behind one. Now backs away, gets into blue, looking for the first. Evil Clouds is gonna find it. Lycus Empire will make it a 4-2 split. The defense taking the control they are so duly deserved. And, well, look at that. Defenders win round 6. Lycus Empire, they take it. The Goomba Gang have a little bit to come back from, and they have to throw a curveball the way of this Lycus Empire side on the defensive side. But it's easier said than done. Attacker repick being what it is, it's difficult to fool your opponents nowadays. Ubisoft changing a lot of the meta. I think it's a breath of fresh air. Just teams that go down 4-2 as they head onto the defensive side may not think so.
No, and traditionally, this game is a defender-sided game as a whole. Clubhouse being more of a 3-3 split from what I've noticed in my experience. But with attacker repick available, it might shake it up a little bit more. So Lycus, depending on how Goomba plays their defense, Lycus might be finding themselves taking this rather quickly.
Do you think we see any more than maybe 9-10 rounds? A 7-2 is a 7-3, both more than likely.
I'm thinking 10 rounds is all we're gonna see here. Just judging off how Goomba's pacing has been so far this game, they seem to be a little off at the moment, almost as if Lycus was fully prepared for the more methodical pushes that Goomba was bringing.
We will see an Alibi and a Maestro, the first time both Italian operators have been played thus far in this game. Do either of them bring the ACS? That is the real question. We see both of them wielding the Bailiff. I think that's the most important part. The Evil Eyes, this time they are Evil Eyes, and the Black Eyes are going to be brought. Talon looking to use those Black Eyes in full effectiveness. And towards the garage side, I don't know if that's the proper place to do, because you have the default cam, and then past that, if they take out the default cam, that means they have garage control. So, I don't know.
A little bit more intel on that side never really hurts, but I do agree. It might be a little too much focused on that one, coming from the fact that she's only got 3 cameras at the moment. That being said, though, Big Guy opening the server wall immediately. Talon looking like he might fall off, but baits the fall off and takes back on red stairs. Taking out another drone. Big Guy looking to make a push in through the hole. Finding the head of an Alibi, unfortunately, or Alibi Prisma. Just alerting the rest of Goomba Gang to his position. Focal being found by Talon elsewhere on the map. That appears to be at the bottom of red stairs.
No way. Talon with the second. Big Guys. Drop down goes the ace. That's 1/2 of your hard breaching core dropped. Evil Clouds is not bringing the hard breach utility on Finka, rather the frag grenades as everybody else does, so making their own lives just a little bit more difficult. Is the thermite dealt with? That's the real question. K2 does have impacts, and there is a C4. My apologies again on Perplexed. The Cade available, but the Thatcher could relatively easily deal with this. I don't know if they will be able to get this main kitchen hatch open, because Slickly is just sitting here? What is this
That's a rat
call?
spot if we've ever seen one. Slickly, if they don't drone him.
Oh, no way.
Does he get away with this?
He's got to. There's no way this is dealt with. They're pushing down main stairs.
They don't know.
They're not even try it. Oh, no.
They don't even know.
Flank. No way. Evil Class hasn't hurt him. Oh, no, he does.
They hurt him.
Slickly gets a kill. PKers is dropped. Nade is prepped. Get out of there, Slickly. You're gonna die. He'll die.
Very well timed grenade from Evil Clouds there. Unfortunately, Slickly, that pick over on PK is well solid, shutting down the thermite and preventing them from taking dirt, did end up getting him caught. Now with Chill pushing the site, taking a lot of damage down to Messiah, and Messiah cleaning it back up on both.
Now you know why the MX4 Storm is used. Obvious reasons. It's nuts. Does a decent bit of damage, has virtually no recoil, and there's a nice nice 1.5 on there to boot. Lycus, don't pick up their opening round. I feel like that was a sloppy first round from them. To say the least, that was a sloppy first round. They had the collapse from 2 different angles on Talon, yet both players from that same construction side die early on. They made very little ground towards the middle floor, considering that roam was still there from Slickly, who got a free kill, and then they finally get the kill and have to hard breach and drop through that stock side, because they didn't get anything. They got absolutely nothing from it. And they died.
And Talon made it back to site without even taking damage. You can't let that happen there, Lycus. Like, you had the pinch. You just pushed individually, gave him his ones, and he came out on top with 2 very slick headshots.
Well, living up to his name, I suppose. The opening round of the second half goes the way of Goomba Gang, sending their round tally to 3. Lycus Empire not putting the final slash in that set of tallies, looking for their 5th thus far. I think Goomba Gang are looking better on this defensive side than they were on the attack because of the way that they deny that early ground taken. I was talking about the roam game not being there from Lycus. I feel like that was their best option. On the other side, Goomba Gang's roam is theirs. The difference of the playstyle sometimes is just what decides it.
Absolutely. From what we saw coming out of Lycus on their defending side, that roam game not being there threw Goomba off drastically. And the one time that it was, they were not prepared for it.
So it looks like we may be getting a rehost.
Yes,
Possibly question mark.
That looks like we will be getting a rehost.
Yeah, unfortunate. Hashtag feels bad, man. Rehost on the day. Good news is that should fix our game sound issues. Yes, rehost it is. We will get things fixed. You get to see us for a second, so I feel like that's a reward in and of itself. Plus the fact that you guys now get sound, as do we, making our lives and your lives just a little bit easier. But how do you feel about the first 7 rounds of play thus far? Goomba Gang looking really good on the defensive side, but at that same point, the attack in that same right isn't looking too good for Lycus.
Not so much. Their defending side, Lycus, was definitely taking Goomba Gang by surprise. Goomba was expecting much more of a roam game. They were taking roam clear quite a bit without even putting pressure onto site until almost the last minute of each round. Goomba Gang, the one time that they did run into a roam, they weren't even looking for it anymore. They just stopped. Talon losing his life in the first 30 seconds pushing into basement. Yeah, they got caught off guard drastically with that. Lycus was just taking far too many roam centered operators and then not being where they wanted to be. This time around, though, Goomba taking that roam and using their aggression that they had, well, in the last minute of every round before, and putting it towards the first minute of each round this time. Talon taking 2 very good kills, getting back to site, no damage taken by any of him or his team, and no punishment whatsoever coming from Lycus.
I think that Lycus need to overemphasize the fact that they do need to remove that roam, but they don't need to oversend themselves into those situations. Of course, we know you want to get rid of that roam as quickly as possible, but if you set it up properly and it takes you an extra 10, 20, maybe even 30 seconds to deal with it, and you don't lose 2 players to the same person from that same angle, I think that's a little bit of a better win. Talon should not have gotten 2 kills and been able to get out. That culmination ruined their round right off the start. It was less than a minute into the round. You're dropping 2 players, one of which being one of your hard breachers, onto a bottom floor site. Exponentially more difficult now is your job to take that.
Oh, absolutely. And with the peak that they did too, it wasn't even that Talon had a quick flick between the two. That looked like they just pushed 1-on-1.
Yeah.
The Thatcher swinging first, Ace trying to follow it up, but Talon already repositioning, still giving that one fight. If they had coordinated that push just a little bit better, they would have been able to clear him off, and if they took damage, they may have only lost 1 player to him. We would have seen a completely different round in that sense.
Yeah, when Talon's gone there, you lose those 2 impacts we talked about earlier, one of which, of course, was used to open up a peak hole. I thought that was a Zofia charge that went through originally, and I was like, oh, they made some quick strides over towards that cash position. But then I realized, wait a second, I see impacts on Valkyrie. And then I realized, oh wait, Talon was looking for a peek hole of their own. It ended up baiting out the peek from the ace gaining information on that side, and then the buck on the far side just being dropped early on. That was the catalyst to the end of the round almost immediately. You lose your soft breach, you lose one of your hard breaches as well. Talon probably picked 2 of the 3 most important players on the team and was like, huh, you don't get to survive past the first minute. And that's how things ended almost immediately. Past those first 2 kills, I didn't see any way for them to come back in the round, especially with Slickly just playing the rat spot inside a kitchen. I haven't seen that spot, and I play in silver and gold lobbies, so that shows you how much of a rat spot that is.
No, there's not very many silver or golds that have the confidence to play that position or
I'm
to
doing it next
stick it
game,
out.
clipping it, and sending it to you.
Looking forward to that. But again, though, that confidence that he had on that one, without even flinching, as 2 people were right outside of his door, he waited until the perfect opportunity. Ended up getting it on PKers instead of the people in the building. Lost his life over it, but he took out the hard breach and denied them another entry into sight. By taking out PKers there who was about to open dirt, that would have given them another, a second angle at the very least from what they ended up pushing, rather than trying to force their way through a single hatch into the open arms of the defending team.
Yeah, and that hatch had to be stock because you had those exothermic charges available, but with the impacts available on the defensive side, they were just able to impact trick that if you tried up through the kitchen. That's the devil in the situation. You didn't have the buck to clear out below that hatch inside of Arsenal, so you could not bait out those impacts either earlier on or just take them out entirely. Plus the fact that, well, your life was just even that much more difficult considering you were down 2 players already and then the third player dropping. That almost spelled immediate disaster. 2 versus 5s are not easily came by, especially when you have very little map control, a single hard breacher, and little time on the clock. And we saw exactly why. It was looking good from that Lycus Empire side from the start of the round, and then they ended it about as well as they could have. It was looking great.
Absolutely. And it looks like we were having just slight additional technical difficulties on this one. Another person's game crashed on the attempted rehost. So we will be waiting just a few more moments. Bear with us. It's a small indie company. Thanks, UV.
I'm gonna recuse myself from the situation. Uh, in the hopes of saving my career, I'm not a part of the. That was yeah, sounds about right. Unfortunately, the culmination of the new season usually happens. I do find it funny. Ubisoft finds a way to fix their game and immediately is like, oh, let's release a new season, and it breaks everything.
Yeah,
This
and with
happens
only
once
3
every
months in
3
between.
months. Yeah, once every 3 months, a new season's released and the game is broken. Usually it only results in audio bugs. That's usually what we see. But we saw the Did you see the visual bug that sometimes happens on Border?
Which visual bug is this one? Because I've seen a couple
So-
this season already.
There was one, I think it either happened in the NAC, no, it happened in both CCL and in the APAC League, where it just picks up a blurry part of some border wall. And as the spectator, if you're not looking directly down, it just makes a wall between you and the other half of the map. I'm going to find a clip of it and put it over my face. Give me a second. I know
Alright.
Sticula posted a picture of this, but it was so funny.
No, the ones that I've been seeing is an old bug returning, actually, where Sledge's hammer gets a similar effect while it's on his back. And you can see it through every wall in the map.
Okay, I found it. Give me a second. I'm making it a browser source my OBS because I'm running a virtual webcam. So give me 2 seconds. You can see the OBS source pop up in the top left. Give me this. This is what it looked like. Enter, enter. Okay. This was in the APAC League.
Oh my. That
It-
is a visual bug and a half.
It then happened the same day, the same calendar day at least in terms of NA times. Not 12 hours later, and it looked like this.
Oh, new seasons and Siege. Such a great time to be.
Yeah. At least it
All
wasn't
right.
that. At least we're not playing Border and getting that. But yeah, as soon as we get things going, we'll get you guys back into the game. Unfortunately, the game crashing, audio bugs, video bugs, and the game crashing again are not too uncommon. All of which have already happened on official streams. So if they happen here, we can just say we're even more like official Ubisoft streams, and you guys should watch us more than you should watch them. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to elaborate past. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Now, while we're waiting for the lobby to come back up, we are going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. See you soon.
37 tech issues, and 47 calendar months later, we're back with round number 8 of our match between Goomba Gang and Lycus Empire. Goomba Gang down by just a single round as we head into the second round of our second half. I am time to light that very handsome man over there. That would be Schmitty. As we head into our 8th round, and as Goomba Gang try to reestablish themselves on this defensive side past our 10-ish minute hiatus, how do you feel about this game?
Well, 8 rounds, still a fairly even split, even though Goomba Gang has been a little slow on their attack half. Their defense half, starting with an explosive beginning. Talon, once again, taking 2 very quick kills in their first defending round. Catching Lycus off guard, setting the pace for the defending half as a more aggressive approach.
I like the fact that Goomba Gang are a lot more aggro on this defensive side than we saw from Lycus. It makes for the beginning of rounds, my apologies, to be a little bit more fun. Rainbow Six, is the 30-second action simulator where the final 30 seconds of the round, the attacking team decides, oh, we finally want to actually attack the site we're supposed to be attacking now, and do so, sometimes successfully, sometimes unsuccessfully, sometimes there is actually a post-plant, a little bit longer than those 30 seconds. But into now the gym bedroom site, everybody has to pick the same operators they did in the previous round, but the attackers do still have that repick option. That's the one change with the repick available. They can repick as they do so please, at least as far as I am aware. Lycus, depending on how they decide to do that, depends on how we really see what they decide to do. I think we're going to see another Jacuzzi take, though, back towards the construction side as well. Perplexed on that Cade. Love to see it.
And it is looking like they're bringing the same lineup as what they previously had. Not looking to make much adjustment on that one. They are bringing two hard breachers and, of course, Thatcher. Just to make clearing those walls that much quicker. Most likely on this round, we're going to see Big Guy go for the server wall once again, with PKers likely going for the construction wall and the hot tub wall. And
Helen,
to speak,
oh no.
Looking like he wants a little revenge for that basement roam that took him out a few rounds before.
I don't know if it's going to work, though. I don't think anybody on this Lycus Empire side is going to go to the bottom floor, which in this point is completely unnecessary to take if you are on this Lycus Empire side. Of course, the only flanks that could come through from that middle or bottom floor, in all fairness, is from the main stairs and from the red stairs. And even then, you'd expect both of those to happen because people play on main stairs and towards the red stairs side all the time. So, nothing too out of the blue. No real reason to attack the bottom floor unless you want to take out those rumors early and maybe give yourself an early man advantage. But even then, that's an unnecessary risk that they may not want to take. PKR is looking to initiate over towards that Jacuzzi side. Does just that and opens just that Jacuzzi wall. Already open just over a minute through this round. Lycus Empire, a little bit slower than Goomba Gang in terms of opening up hard breaches, but only by about 20 seconds. And with the speed that Goomba Gang attack and the lack of speed that Lycus Empire have, it may hurt them. So we'll see how it does play out. Ace charge going through. It's looking good thus far for the Goomba Gang, as PKers is the first to fall.
Absolutely. And getting that bathroom wall open right away provides a lot more control over this hallway to the attacking side. Not having that bathroom to play from, the defenders need to then fall back further into sight, or in the case of Slickly, cower in that shower so that he can't lose his head to the windows.
Nice. That was a good one.
Oh, thank you.
Please tell me you just came up with that, please.
I did.
Awesome. My childhood dreams are not ruined. I love it. Slicklies, maybe, as the Evil Eyes will no longer be as effective as they once were. They're no longer lethal. They're just tactical information gathering balls of glass, unfortunately. Perplexed, looking to make one of those rooms happen, possibly set up a C4. One of those drones being taken out. I see a suppressor on that AUG. Am I correct in assuming that is a suppressor? It may not matter. Big Guy gets one, traded back by Talon, who is a double so far on the round. A double for both of them, as a matter of fact, in this round thus far. Relatively even, as it stands.
That it is, and it looks like they're coming to a little bit more of a stalemate towards the last 20 seconds. Evil Cloud's looking to make something happen, catching Talon's wrists. Chill about to make the push in for that plant. Evil Cloud's getting those stun grenades in, pushing Perplexed up. or sorry, K2 off. Plex underneath with the C4, just barely
What?
missing.
Why use it so early? Now it's a post plant, assuming they get the plant down. They do indeed. One of those drones is taken out, but now Perplex is in a 1 versus 3. Could have waited on that C4, had an extra 6 seconds to work with if they did so choose to use it. The upside down repel will cost Perplexed his life, and that is going to do it. The Moroccan op will be easily dealt with. Look for those toes. Not even a jackal on the board, yet the toes are still gone after. You never get away from them. And again, Lycus Empire take a round. They reestablish their 2-round lead. And Goomba Gang now have a mountain to climb yet again. Lycus are threatening to make it a 10-round rout. But Goomba on this defense still been looking okay.
Absolutely. From what we can tell from that round, it looked like that little bit of momentum that Goomba started with going into this half may have been curbed by these rehosts and technical issues. I know that is a frequent problem for, well, any major timeout call or major technical issue on this game. The mentals just don't come back fully as they get back into game. So hopefully Goomba can pick this one back up, get back on that momentum push that Talon started for them, and we'll see a little bit longer of a game.
I like seeing long games. That means they're close, at least most of the time. Sometimes long games just means there was a crap ton of technical issues. This time it's a little bit of both, at least thus far, which I'm okay with. It's as long as there's a decent balance between the closeness of a game and the amount of tech issues in a game. That's somewhat acceptable. I see that shadow issue is still there on reinforced walls, by the way. Can we take a look at the construction wall out towards that balcony super duper quickly? There's always a tech issue there where you have a weird shadow going through. It's very fun to see. There you go. And if you look at, it gets, no, that's so weird. I don't like that. Oh no, what is that?
The soft wall is even still there and the light's just coming right through. All right.
What is that? It still happens on the CCTV wall. I know that's been happening forever, but I didn't know it happened at the construction walls still. That's so weird.
Oh, and Perplexed, preparing for a neat little Cade trick here. The spot that he's about to throw it to will still get Jacuzzi wall electrified, which would stop PKers from taking that wall. He's just waiting for the call that the plant is going down on it.
Wait for it. And it goes.
Here it comes.
Oh, he's got it. So well timed. Oh,
beautifully played by Perplexed.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Over here,
there
we've
are
got
EMPs. There are EMPs. Just keep that in mind. There are EMPs. They should be able to deal with this if they do it properly. But it was still fun to watch. That means, wait, no, wait a second. PKers doesn't have an extra exothermic charge. Hold the phone. They got construction side early. Oh no, that was a lot more extreme than I thought it was.
That's going to deny the attacking side complete access to the Jacuzzi balcony. They're going to have to find a different way to push in, and they didn't bring a second hard breacher, so that means they're going to have to funnel in through tight doorways or the stairway. Talon, though, looking to get a flank somewhere, roaming down to the basement. Evil Clouds nearly finding the head of somebody through the soft wall. Jaeger taking the fight that Evil Clouds is trying to force. Falling back safely into logistics, being covered by K2 on that Aruni.
Away. Ooh, the one tap just barely missing. You can see the drone is above, though. Messiah getting some information, looking for a ping. There's the ping. Will we see the swing from Evil? The ping and the swing combo, name a more iconic duo. Thus far, it hasn't come through. Evil looking to initiate, and they need to do so on this attacking side. Still a 5 versus 5, but as I say that, Talon gets the opener. The swing is much too late, but Slickly is dropped because PKers from the far side does indeed deal with them. Again, a trade. Talon coming out on top of yet another. Messiah dropping big guy. It's a flurry of frags, every single one going the way of Goomba, other than the early kill onto Slickly, and Goomba bring themselves within one round yet again on this defensive side. Into round 10, they threaten to tie.
Losing that 2-round advantage, it's going to be tough for them. By the looks of this back and forth, Goomba may very well bring this into overtime. They just need that one little push just to get them back into a even split here. That being said, though, they are going down to Church Arsenal. We have not seen them take this defense just yet. First defense being... was that first defense on... which site was that on?
First site was CCTV cache.
All right.
Yeah. First defense was CCTV cache, if I remember correctly. Let me check. I'm pretty sure it is. So they're not supposed to be able to go here. That's not good. We may have. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we are 3 rounds into the half. They have completed the rotation. There goes my confusion. All right. Rehosts are fun.
Neither of us can do math. Neither of us can do math. Like we said, don't do math on stream, kids. Not a good idea. It was 4-2, and then it was 4-3. That was the third round, was the round down here. Then it was 5-3. That was a round towards CCTV cache. And then gym bedroom. There you go.
Yeah,
Don't do math
we
on
are
stream, kids.
bad at math on stream.
Yeah, that was
bad at math in general in my life, unfortunately. That being said, though, lineup still not changing much. Slickly on the mute. Messiah instead of Talon on the alibi this time, though. Talon finding the head of Big Guy on the initial breach. Thermite, once again, opening Jacuzzi wall. Talon, or Messiah falling back. Sorry, I'm getting them confused now that they've swapped operators. Messiah falling back safely, and Talon looking to pick another fight over here on the server balcony.
Talon back on the Valkyrie this time. I like it as they head back to the bottom floor. This is a smart decision to play what you know. I don't think Slickly's going to try in the same roam again. I'd be surprised. Actually, hold up. Can we take a look at Slickly? Because I'm pretty sure Slickly's trying something stupid. I don't see them on the bottom floor. Do I? No, they are playing towards the bar side. With a C4, no less, that they've already used, in all fairness. But, well, it's not going to matter. Messiah, the next to drop. The alibi will be dropped, not Talon this time around. Talon's still up, but did bring those impacts. Surprisingly, not bringing the C4, but as a roaming Valk, it makes perfect sense to do so. You give yourself a little bit more freedom to move about, as long as you use the impacts properly. They have thus far, giving themselves a peek angle or two, along with a rotation away. Slickly now playing towards the bathroom, and is droned away. That should mean that Slickly runs away at that same point. Thus far, they haven't. Talon just barely alive as well. Lucky to be alive.
Making it back onto site with his life, although taking a little bit of damage for it. Focal and what looked to be Evo Clouds trying to pinch out Slickly here now. They know he's in the area, and Focal finding his head off of a poorly timed peek, nearly missing it while looking over at this the strip wall. Perplexed, finding a fantastic C4 onto the bathroom doorway, and PKers getting dirt open.
Final 40 seconds. It's that action phase, and there's already been a little bit of action, but I don't think enough in terms for Lycus Empire to take this round. K2 still alive. I think that's the most important part. The Evil Eyes will still function as they properly should. They're looking to push above, and oh no, we have the sound bug again. You guys won't hear anything. That will not be fixed. It takes too long to rehost, and, well, nobody rehosts anymore. They're overrated. Final 15. Where are they? What are they doing? Are they just not going to push? Hold the phone. They're finally pushing down the main stairs. Chill should push down in towards Memorial. In comes this push. Talon gets one, Perplexed with another. It's down to PKers in a 1 versus 3 with about 4 seconds left on the clock. Now 0 seconds. Goomba Gang tie us up 5 apiece. What was that attack?
They seem to be all over the place that time. Not sure what to do about their roamers. And the roamers wasting so much time, leaving... What was that? Only 1 minute and 15 seconds for Lycus Empire to make that final push on site. And when they did finally clear those roamers out, they had started losing people immediately.
I don't like the fact that Lycus Empire keep overemphasizing their roam clear, but not with enough players. Talon, by the way, in 3 rounds, has 6 kills. Looking good, to say the least. PKers and the rest of Lycus between 1 and 2 kills per player. They're looking okay, but most of those kills came from... Oh my goodness, they're doing... Goomba Gang are pulling out the... Again. They're pulling out the Uno reverse card. Now, I would say anything you can do, I can do better, but in all fairness to Lycus Empire, they kept 4 players alive in their bar defense. So, see that as you will. Goomba Gang need to do something here. They will reinforce towards the billiards side. They'll also reinforce towards stock/stage, and they'll keep a hatch open. This is a defense I saw in the Sweden or Mexico major from Na'Vi, where you play above mostly. You usually bring a Mira, but there's no Mira available. And you play the top-down defense, leaving both hatches open, and you virtually play it like you would kitchen dining on Chalet, where you mostly play above until you're forced down and then you
Well,
drop.
that could be a very interesting push. Unfortunately, I missed that live game. But what looks like they've done here, they're taking Perplexed on Oryx. So having those hatches open provides him additional cheeky flank routes. Uh, and he may very well be able to just maneuver around the map too quickly for Lycus Empire to keep lock on his position. On top of that, they're also bringing the castle, shutting off some of those longer sightlines through the center of bar, using that on, I believe that was main entrance and the strip to pool doorway. Perplexed, finding that first kill. Slippery, slippery Oryx.
And look at that, Oryx running away.
He can reposition just too quickly. It doesn't matter what intel they have on him here. He's going to be able to get to a different part of the map before they can even react on it.
Yeah, look at Big Guy, now looking for the Oryx, who is on the other side of the map on the bottom floor. That's how runny that Oryx is. They will bring hard breach utility on this attacking side. 2 versions of it, by the way. 3, as a matter of fact. They have the hard breach utility on Evil Clouds, who is currently dead, and then they open things up over towards the construction wall at that. I want to see how they try and play this, though, because they're making too much noise on this top floor, and this should be heard on the defensive side. Goomba Gang do lose Messiah. I think that's the most important part. Slickly will get out of this bar side, and PKers is dead. As is Focal, as is Talon. 3 players die, only at the hands of 2 opponents. There was a little bit of friendly fire in there, and K2 uses the worst gun in the game to get one of the more difficult kills in it as well. Big Guy in a 1 versus 3, 60 seconds on the clock. Now within a minute, it's easier said than done to take.
Absolutely, and Perplex still up on the board, no damage taken. K2 at about half health, so Big Guy needs to essentially kill 2.5 people worth of damage just to even have a chance on this one. And with how much people are still alive, all the cross angles that they can get through the bar from the various corners of that massive room, just walking in is going to be daunting.
Especially with K2 sitting behind an wall-bangable wall. There should be a shadow there, unless Big Guy doesn't have their shaders turned up high enough. Slickly making the noise, but K2 swings at a perfect time, saves Slickly's life. Whether they died or not, his kill will have still gone their way. And, well, Goomba Gang getting the most important round to go their way, the one that puts them on to match point. They lose this, worst comes to worst, they go to OT. They win, well, we're done, as is the stream, but Goomba Gang still have a round to win. They do have a free choice between Gym Bedroom and CCTV Cache. They decide to go Gym Bedroom.
That they do, and just to point this out, that puts Goomba Gang now on 3 rounds straight. They have built up quite the bit of momentum here. Lycus Empire needs to find a way to curb that, to slow them down, particularly around getting rid of Talon and Perplexed, who are just on fire this game.
I'm looking at Goomba Gang right now, and I like what they're bringing. I don't know about the Cade, though. I like the fact that they are bringing the Cade. I just don't know if it's going to work a second time. For all of you who may forget, we saw the Cade go down to bathroom, throw the little bit of a Cade trick up and through the bathroom side, and it worked out relatively well. I'm just a little interested to see if it works out again. They will bring the Thatcher on the attacking side along with 2 sets of hard breaches this time around. They have learned their lesson. I think that's the most important part. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you, as a wise man once said. They won't fool them twice, at least not this time around.
And if Perplex can get that off again, that would be huge. That would almost immediately solidify Goomba Gang as the winner of the round, due to the fact that from what we're seeing from Lycus here is there's... Oh no, they have adjusted. They are bringing big guy on the ace this time. So they do have the secondary hard breach. That way, if Perplex can get that play off once again, they're not completely locked out. They do have a secondary option. They can clear a different wall. Or, in this case, they can continue to use the Thermite on server instead of using that secondary hard breach. Messiah looking for the drones and taking a swing, finding the head of Evil Clouds for a perfect opening for Goomba. Lycus, they need to clear out that roam first of all. Try to stop Talon from his consistent long flanks here, and still get themselves onto site, all a man down, just to stand a chance at keeping in this game.
I need to go do stats after this game and figure out how many opening frags went Goomba Gang's way, because they got opening frags on the attacking side a lot, and then the defensive side, I think, flawlessly.
I may be able to have an answer for that in just a moment here.
Oh, look at that. He's been doing his due diligence. First time on an official cast, and it seems like he's been doing this forever. Lycus don't seem like they've been doing this forever. They seem like noobs. I'm not gonna lie to you. 3 rounds in a row going the way of Goomba Gang. At least since the rehost, they've seemed like noobs. EMP will be thrown in. Big guy should be able to open things up, and they will indeed be able to do so. Chill, able to get a kill. That is not what you want to happen if you are on this defensive side. They're dead even yet again, but there's only 1 minute and 15 seconds left. This is not looking amazing for really either team.
No, not looking amazing for either side at all. That being said, though, Goomba is still in the stronger position. Perplexed, still playing from below, has that C4 in the pocket. If Lycus can get onto site, he will be a big threat to them so long as the intel from Goomba does not fail the plant spot. And this time, Ace, clearing the hot tub wall, also opening a small hole into the bottom of the bathroom wall, preventing the defenders from having anyone in there, which would give Lycus easier entry onto the site through the windows. And look at this angle.
No. Oh no, this is so difficult to deal with because you have to look straight down immediately, and unless there's a frost on the board, you usually don't look straight down as you jump through a window, especially one that you usually get shot from various angles. Talon taking out an opening drone. Perplex still here with SC4. Talon takes out big guy on that jacuzzi side. Down goes the ace. This is not looking good. Chill jumps in, does not get taken out by Perplex, who is just sitting under that master wall. Perplexed, C4 pumped. In it will go. Down it will land, but not properly. It's not going to matter. Goomba Gang will take things via time in the final round. A 1 versus 3 next to impossible. Without the diffuser down and with that C4 going in, it wouldn't have gone down anyway. Goomba Gang wins 7-5. Ouch.
Oh. All right. As I said earlier, we may have the stats on the opening frags in just a moment. Just waiting for our stat tracker to catch up to that. So we should have that answer for you soon, but time to light. Right? What do you think went wrong for Lycus in that last half there?
I don't think I have enough fingers or toes to count the amount of times that things went wrong for Lycus Empire. Mostly it was opening kills, and secondly, it was lack of map control. We saw them not even get onto site until about, 8-9 seconds left. They didn't have any control outside of those balcony positions at all, whatsoever. They didn't take construction quickly enough. Big guy tried it once and died, so they didn't even try and go back to it. They didn't have the horizontal control nor the vertical control to deal with the possible C4 from below. Lack of real estate, I have to say. For Goomba Gang, it was free real estate, as the meme does suggest, for obvious reasons. They didn't get cleared. Long story short, we saw the entirety of Lycus Empire waste 2.5 minutes just to take out a little bit of Cade utility, open up a couple reinforcements with their 2 hard breachers, and open up some barricades. And of course, a couple players died on either side, but past that, nothing really important happened. It wasn't looking good for them on the attacking side, especially in the final round. The second half as a whole, they just got wrecked. 5-1 split in the second half. The only round they won was a nail-biter, to say the least. Their attack just wasn't there.
And on the flip side, though, Goomba, on their attacking half, much like Lycus, were taking it a bit slower. Not getting into sight until the last minute of play, but at the very least, they were getting on there with more than 30 seconds left on the clock. So that stark difference definitely showing that Lycus needs a little bit more work on the attack on this map. Uh, Definitely some things to clean up on their end. Most likely, they were not used to some of the operator bans that were on there. Bandit and Habana being taken out by themselves. Probably not the smartest choice, leaving Kate up there instead of the Bandit. It definitely lost them around earlier. What can you say? Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, we've actually been given that stat, by the way. 8 opening kills going the way of Goomba. For all of you mathematicians out there, I actually can do math on stream sometimes. It's 66% of the opening kills going their way. I do want to ask really quick, how many in the second half? Because I think most of them were in the second half. Their defense looked amazing. They had a lot of opening kills elsewhere, mainly Talon, kind of nuts, good player. Went nuts against Gusick as well. Seems like it's not just a one-time thing.
Oh, absolutely not. Talon, he is actually a player on the former season 1 runner-ups, if I recall correctly. Used to be part of Emergence. So he does have some good history behind him. And Emergence was a powerhouse in our first season. They went nearly undefeated leading into the grand finals, finally being taken down by the champions, of course. Fortunately, we didn't see their participation in season 2, but it's good to see them coming back for season 3, even if a few of them are on different teams.
Hey, at least some of them are back here, and they're looking good as well. Talon being one of those players that are looking really good. This time around, it looked amazing. And I'm really looking at how some of these players played, and we don't have like immediate scoreboards for you, obviously, because we had rehost, but overall, kills seem to favor Talon a lot, especially after the rehost. It was looking really strong for him. I think if that continues throughout the season, then Talon continues to go nuts, and as does the rest of the team.
And it looks like we don't have an exact count on the second half specifically for his opening kills. But by best guess, looking back, I would take a wild guess of 4 at the
Yeah.
very least.
Consistency. Sometimes that's all it comes down to. Consistency is key. Our only game, at least between Schmitty and I, is done for the night, as is our final game for the night in terms of the Playday. But AWG is not done. This is only Playday number 1. So on to next week. Come back next Sunday. It's Playday number 2. Schmitty and I may be back with you because Santos is out for yet another week. So Schmitty, you better come back. That's all I'm saying.
I will
You better
absolutely
come
be
back.
And with this win, that does put Goomba Gang, I believe, at the current top of the scoreboard.
2-0.
Uh,
They're looking good.
3-0 now, actually.
Who else they
Yes,
beat?
3-0. Let me double check.
I know they beat Gusick. Because, Gusick isn't here anymore.
They took out Lycus just now. They played. They also played Imperium off stream a little bit earlier. They ended up winning that one 7-3.
Well, there's your fun fact of the day. Goomba Gang is nuts. They are now 3-0 and at the top of the standings in Division 2. But Division 2 and Division 1 will both come back next week. Thank you all so much for watching. A quick shout out to our production team, Fallen Griffin, in the back lines, allowing us to actually see the game and running us through all the visual and audio issues. Thank you so much. And of course, Narwhal is running production all season. Go give him a shout at I am Narwhals on Twitter. And then I'm Time to Late. That right there was Schmitty. If you want to follow us, our Twitters are below us because I think we're cool, at least sometimes. But we'll see you next time, next Sunday, 6 p.m. if I recall correctly. We'll see you then.